Good evening, South Tama Trojan fans. It's Friday night, and we're live from STC Trojan Field. I'm Darvin Graham. I'll be joined here in a little bit by my co-host, George Cuter, and we're excited to be with you for another Friday night football evening here. We're at South Tama Trojan Field. You're watching right now. Well, you're not watching because I got that graphic up here, but we do have the STC Frosh team playing right now. We just got underway in the fourth quarter. South Tama trailing in this one. This is the Frosh game between South Tama and Grinnell. The Trojans trailing 6-24, and they're a couple minutes into the fourth quarter. So that's happening right here, and we are glad you're with us. All right. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by a whole host of wonderful sponsors, including State Farm Insurance, Gary Bach in downtown Toledo, Appraisal and Real Estate Services, Iowa Premium, State Bank of Toledo, Medicap Pharmacy, S&S Car Wash, Mercy Care Tama, The Pump, Dallas Berm, Exit Holes Realty, and Assured Partners in Toledo. Also, thank you to TFD, the Farmer's Daughter Photography, for their support this season. We'll be right back after a break. You're listening to Trojan Country. We'll be right back. Welcome back into Trojan Country. We're live from STC Trojan Field. It's week 3 of the Iowa high school football season, and it's rivalry week here for the South Tama Trojans. The Grinnell Tigers are in the house, and we're getting underway here. It's the pregame show, and we're glad you could be with us. A nice crowd filtering in from both sides. Haven't seen the opposing bleachers this full yet this season, and so it's exciting to see a lot of people out here attending Friday night football. It's a beautiful night, a little warm up here in the press box, but not quite as bad as last week, and we're having a good time. A great evening for football. It's the Steve Kriegel Memorial Trophy game between these two. It's actually the 25th year of the playing of the Steve Kriegel Memorial Trophy game, the playing of the helmets as it's known, and Steve Kriegel, of course, a son of both communities here, South Tama and Grinnell. Kriegel grew up in the Tama-Toledo area and later went on to become a Hall of Fame coach in the Grinnell community. And so this game's been played in his honor since his passing in 1997. We'll hear a little bit more about him and his impact on high school sports in South Tama and Grinnell later in the pregame show, so stick around for that. I'm Darvin Graham. I'll be joined by my co-host, George Cuter, along here in a little bit. He's finishing up PA announcing for the freshman game. The Frosh game is just about 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. South Tama freshmen are trailing 24-6 against Grinnell in this one. So if you're wondering how that score is shaping up, there's your update there. Here in a moment, we're going to jump into our Getting to Know You feature with STC Assistant Principal Amy Karg. But before we do, we're going to hear a word from some of our sponsors. Make home buying a smooth process. "2022 marks the 95th year in business for the State Bank of Toledo since opening in 1927. The State Bank of Toledo is Trojan Country's hometown bank, supporting its customers with loyal, friendly, and fair customer service. With 2 convenient locations, a full-service investment center, 24-hour ATM service, and online banking, you can't go wrong making State Bank of Toledo your financial services choice. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. S&S Car Wash provides both automatic and hand wash services, as well as detailing for your vehicle. S&S Car Wash, your local car wash destination with convenient locations in Toledo and Tama.
You've changed thousands of diapers, cut off hundreds of bread crusts, played hours of peekaboo and duck duck goose, because you'd do anything for your kids. That's why it's so important to protect them with life insurance from State Farm. State Farm agent Gary Bach makes it easy and affordable to help protect your family, no matter what the future holds. Because for the people you'd do anything for, life insurance could mean everything. Call State Farm agent Gary Bach in Toledo today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
It's time for another Getting to Know You segment here on Trojan Country. I'm Darvin Graham, and today I'm joined by one of South Tama County's newest school administrators. This summer, Amy Karg was brought on as the new South Tama County High School Assistant Principal. I have Amy here with me today. Amy, welcome to South Tama County. Glad you could join us here on Trojan Country.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here too.
To start off, just tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe where you're from originally, and just some of your backstory.
Well, I am an Iowa, full-time Iowa person. Was born actually in Nebraska, but my family's from Iowa. I'm actually from Southwest Iowa, small town, New Market, if you're aware of that. I have a bachelor's degree from Buena Vista University and a master's from Capella University in educational leadership. This is my 25th year in education.
Wow.
I have a background in special ed, a background working with adjudicated youth, behavioral students. I've worked with students from all ends of the spectrum, from behavioral all the way up to talented and gifted. And I just have a passion for working with students, from all backgrounds. This is actually my 15th year in administration.
Great.
And I'm just excited to be here.
Yeah.
I've been in several districts, I guess, not several, but quite a few. I am coming from the Des Moines area.
Okay.
And so I'm excited for this year to begin and just get to know our students and our families and just give them the best opportunity possible.
Yeah. Any connection to the Tama Toledo area? Any?
No, really.
Yeah.
Yes and no, I guess.
Sure.
I have actually, personally, I've seen some openings in the past few years, and I'm a person, I usually look in the background, check things out. And so the demographics and just the background and just their the way they spread their community word but through Facebook and their passion, you can just tell this is a very loving and caring community and want to share what is going well. And so that was something that really, really interested me. I am that small town person, even though I have worked in small town schools and also very large districts. Yeah. My heart is still with, I want to know every kid. I want to know the community members. I want to make sure we're building strong, responsible students and they're achieving to the best ability they can. As of, do I have any relatives? Well, my brother-in-law, his family is actually from around here. Wow, okay, and so great. There are some shirt-tail relations through here. But that was not what was bringing me here.
Yeah, sure,
it was really just learning more about South Tama.
You bet. So we're just getting started into the first week of school. Always an exciting time and a lot of high energy, I would imagine. Just give us a picture from your perspective as an assistant principal. How has the first few days been going? How's it been here at South Tama High in the early going?
All I can say is South Tama has some fabulous students and some fabulous staff. We've been setting expectations. That's usually what happens at the beginning of the year. So those expectations, there's, with that, there's some growing pains, but our staff are doing very well of getting our students engaged, sharing the expectations to our students. I would put them up against any student in Iowa. They're great, and I feel like we're off to a great start.
Awesome. One of the new things that's happening with your role in particular is that there for a few years at least there was an assistant principal and an athletic director, activities director, I should say, that were the same person. So now this year it's a new format where Chelsea Ahrens has been named the activities director. You're in as the assistant principal. How is that looking? What could parents and students expect with that kind of format from administration this year, and what does the role look like for you here?
Well, I would say it was a very good move, I guess, to split the position. Our students deserve to have a full-time activities director. This is a big enough school district that was a very good move to make. And then to have an assistant principal, that's also an excellent choice because it's a full-time job. Yeah. And, when you are doing both parts of those, you're doing two full-time jobs. And sometimes you just can't get it done. And our students deserve more. So for my role, you'll see me more of just making sure expectations are going through. Safety is huge for me, and just making sure that our students understand that some expectations are out of safety, but then also it's to help them get engaged for student achievement, like get them in learning. My passion actually is engagement. And that means engagement not only in the classroom, but also in activities. We all know that when students are involved in other activities, whether it's clubs, whether it's the arts, whether it's sports, chances are they're going to be even more successful. And so I'm really encouraging our students, get out for other activities. If you're out for one, go do another one. Make sure you're preparing and being more of a well-rounded person. I understand life happens and you can't always do that. But it really does help balance, and as an adult you learn how to do a little bit better job of work-life balance too when you have been more involved.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. What has kept you busy in this first opening few days? I guess it hasn't even been a week yet, but what does a day in the life look like for you so far anyway? I know it's super early.
Well, I am driving. That was the other thing. I am coming from. I'm not living here in Tama, Toledo area. I am driving about an hour. So
oh my goodness,
I'm waking up about 5 o'clock in the morning so I can try and be here by about 7:15.
Yeah.
Some days it's 7:30. And then it just starts out in the morning greeting students, making sure that, when they are here, getting things taken care of before they go into the hallways to meet with their teachers. A lot of times it's just, I would call it crowd control. I mean, that's a lot of my job, is making sure expectations are being followed, having conversations with students, conversations with staff. Before too long, it's going to be, even more in the classroom. I try and check in on classrooms already, but it's a lot of communications. I have reached out to parents already. It's just very busy. And most of the time, you'll find me here till probably about 5 o'clock at night. And on these busy athletic nights, it's even longer. So the day in the life of me, I would say, you should find me in the hallways. You should find me in the classrooms. Rarely in my office, and if I'm in my office, there's probably someone with me.
Sure. As an experienced administrator, what, and maybe you don't have a favorite part of the year, but I'm curious, with the beginning of the school year being such a defined experience and such kind of a particular time, is there a part of the flow of a school year that you enjoy the most, that's the most rewarding for you?
I would say every part of every quarter is a little bit different.
Sure.
And as an educator, everybody can tell you that, the first 9 weeks are a lot about just getting into the flow of things. Mm-hmm. The second 9 weeks is, you've got 2 holidays that fall into there. So that breaks up the school year there. And sometimes that's a little bit hard on the instruction. Mm-hmm. They'll tell you the third part of the year, has a lot, it's cold winter, it becomes a little bit longer, and also you just have to watch out for a lot of students' mental health during that time. And then the last part of the year goes great guns, because from the middle of March until the end of the year, there's so many activities going on to help just clear out the year. Yeah. But the 2 things that really stand out to me and just makes my heart proud, I love homecoming week, and we're getting ready to prepare for that, so you'll hear more about the plans for homecoming. That is the first week of October. Okay. I just love the way the students work together, and I'm hoping I'll see it again. I watched these students at our first pep rally the other day, and each grade, just their passion for just, standing up and doing the class cheers, and that competition. I can already see this is going to be a fun homecoming, so that's really strong to my heart. And then I would say the end of the year, graduation. Yeah. Those are probably my biggest things, because the rest of the time you're moving with the flow, and you're looking at achievement and everything else, and just hoping students are doing the right thing for what they need to, and our teachers have gotten in the flow, and you just help support and facilitate. Yeah.
When you're not in the school building, maybe when it's summertime or during the weekends, what are some of the hobbies, things that you enjoy in your spare time?
I am a huge live music person.
Nice.
I've probably attended over 200 concerts in my lifetime, and it will continue on. And I'm very eclectic. I can listen to anything from Don Williams, Reba McEntire, to Disturbed, Kiss. I've seen Hollywood Undead. So it's a huge genre, and I love live music. It's kind of my... It soothes my soul, I guess, and just keeps things moving for me. Yeah. So I'm also a former athlete, so I still enjoy getting out. I don't play as much, but I used to play volleyball myself, play golf, spend time with my family. My significant other likes to fish, so sometimes we like to get out and fish. So just a variety of things. Yeah. Just a balance.
What are some of your maybe goals or aspirations or even visions for this school year here at South Tama? What are you hoping for?
For me, like I said, what really attracted me to come to South Tama was the fact that what I really stand for is about engagement and relationships, and I could see it was already there. Our staff love our students. We have supports built in for our students that may need more supports, and I feel like they have a lot of strong foundations, and for me, I just feel like since it's new, like we're just going to be building upon that foundation to make sure that all students feel safe and secure here, so that when they are in the classrooms, they can learn. And so my goal for this year is really about, continuing to set that Maslow's hierarchy, that safe and secure, and keep it moving up to the next levels, and give the teachers opportunity to teach and these students to be learning at the highest level they can.
You bet. All right, well, thank you so much for your time today, and best of luck in the upcoming school year. We'll hope to catch up with you again before the winter season wraps up. So that was South Tama Assistant Principal at the high school, Amy Karg.
I'm Sarah Smith, and I'm running for Iowa House District 53. As a lifelong Iowan and a native of Poweshiek County, I know this district well, and I have a vested interest in its success. In my leadership roles as a mom, coach, business professional, and a devoted member of my community, I know how to advocate for what matters most. Learn more about my campaign and my platform at sarahsmithforiowa.com. Paid for by Sarah Smith for Iowa.
This show's pretty rockin', huh?
Yeah, I'm so glad my State Farm agent helped me go.
Huh?
My State Farm agent. They help me with options to personalize my auto insurance to get a great rate that fits my budget, so I don't have to give up the things I love.
Wow. Hey, so do you think I could get your State Farm agent's number?
Call State Farm agent Gary Bach in Toledo at 641-484-3163.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Call 641-751. Trojan Country fans, come on down to The Pump, Tama, Toledo's #1 bar and grill. Located in downtown Tama at 218 West 3rd Street, The Pump serves up cold drinks, a warm atmosphere, and an amazing lunch on the regular. Check out the Tama Pump on Facebook for regular lunch and drink specials, as well as details on their latest events. You're listening to Trojan Country. We're back here live. I'm Darvin Graham with you from STC Trojan Field. It's Rivalry Week as South Tama is hosting the Grinnell Tigers for the Steve Kriegel Memorial Trophy Game and the annual Playing of the Helmets. If you're just tuning in, what you're seeing on the screen is the concluding minute and a half of the Frosh game between South Tama and Grinnell. South Tama trailing 24-14. And they're currently on defense here. You can see Grinnell in their white and orange, South Tama in all black tonight. But without further ado, we're going to keep moving forward here on our pregame show. So last week, South Tama took on a very different opponent than what they saw in week 1. It was Sadell in week 2, and the Trojans got a big win, 53-0 against the Eagles last week here at home. Kind of working through some of the leaders and key contributors from this game last week. South Tama was led in the rushing game by really 3 different backs, and that's kind of what we've seen in both contests here in week 1 and week 2. It was Gavin Bridgewater leading the way with 10 carries, 96 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Really prominent in the run game and, of course, the passing game. South Tama running several different option looks for Bridgewater and really keeping him involved in the running game as he's a big body and difficult to handle in the open field. So Bridgewater, 10 carries and 3 touchdowns. Another big week for Rudy Papaki, South Tama's running back. He also split out wide in the passing game a couple of different times, and really his trajectory has been something special to see as a lineman, really one of the bigger bodies on the line as a freshman, moved his way up to a fullback position last year, and this year he's out in the flat catching passes, and I think it was like a 70-yard pass to start the Sadell game. So here he is as the starting running back now this year in his senior season. He had 10 carries, 77 yards, 2 touchdowns, as you can see. And then also rounding out that backfield was Ethan Cruikshank, another senior for South Tama. He had 5 carries, 89 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Looking at the receiving game, South Tama's starting quarterback, of course, Gavin Bridgewater, passed for just 3 of 5 passing. Managed to throw for 125 yards. Was able to come away with some big passing plays and got a touchdown. That touchdown went to senior captain Nolan Upaw. He had 1 reception for 60 yards. That was the kind of team high. No player for South Tama had more than 60 yards, had more than 1 reception in the first week, in the second week against Sept. And what was also interesting to see was South Tama in Crookshank, Papaki, Bridgewater, and Upaw able to get all 4 of their team captains into the end zone on the same week, the same game, and just a fun thing to see. All different kinds of players getting involved. On the defensive side, South Tama was led by some underclassmen. Junior Kalyn McBride on the D-line. He had 7 tackles, 4 solo tackles to lead the team last week. Then it was Kinzer Jeanette, a linebacker, coming in off the bench with 4.5 tackles. He had the only sack on the game and a tackle for a loss. Also, another sophomore, Tyrus Clegg, in the backfield. He's a cornerback and came up with an interception and had 2 tackles. Clegg and both Nolan Upaw had interceptions for the Trojans in week 2 against Sept. So those were your key contributors last week, and last week's breakdown for the Sept game. It was really not much of a contest from a competitive standpoint. Sept kind of let things fall apart early on and really never mounted much of a comeback. So we're going to see a much more competitive team, I think, this week against Grinnell. Always a close, tough played contest between these two teams, and we're going to have that coming up here in a moment. We're about 30 minutes away from kickoff, live from STC Trojan Field. I'm Darvin Graham. We're going to have more pregame show for you. We're going to take a quick break after a word from some of our sponsors. Mercy Care Tama is a proud supporter of South Tama County High School sports. The dedicated staff at Mercy Care Tama offer you and your family the highest quality professional care enhanced by the Mercy Touch. S&S Car Wash provides both automatic and hand wash services as well as detailing for your vehicle. S&S Car Wash, your local car wash destination with convenient locations in Toledo and Tama.
You've changed thousands of diapers, cut off hundreds of bread crusts, played hours of peekaboo and duck duck goose, because you'd do anything for your kids. That's why it's so important to protect them with life insurance from State Farm. State Farm agent Gary Bach makes it easy and affordable to help protect your family, no matter what the future holds. Because for the people you'd do anything for, life insurance could mean everything. Call State Farm agent Gary Bach in Toledo today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
It's Trojan Country Coach's Corner, Week 3, and I'm joined by South Tama varsity head coach Nate Dorn. Nate, how you doing today?
Well, we're good.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about, we're at Week 3. You guys have had 2 very different looking games in the West Marshall game and Sept in Week 2. What was different, I guess, about this Week 2 game for you, kind of on the other end of a blowout win this time?
It was simple. I mean, we practiced as we were prepared to win. We wanted to go in there and we wanted to handle that and be done by by the halftime. We had it in our minds that we were going to handle that game, and we practiced one of our best weeks of practice we've had. So I would say that's the difference. West Marshall, I don't think we went in as ready as we should have been, and it showed. So those are the difference. We were ready. The other week before, we're not so much ready.
Describe the sidelines on a win like that, where you're seeing success, you're seeing the offense kind of marching down the field. What is that atmosphere like for you guys on the sidelines and for these players?
It's awesome. It's Trojan football, man. Everybody's excited. Everybody's pumped. When you're winning, everybody's part of the team. I mean, I don't care if you didn't get in a second, if you didn't get in a single down, you are part of that team. You represent it, and that's what it is. It's infectious, and everybody wants to be part of that. And then, you're on the other end. There's days when last week, you lose. You got guys that kind of wander in the back, and there's side conversations, and, you got to stop that. And last week we had none of that, and this week we'll have none of that either because we're expecting to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Despite the lopsided score and kind of a different looking opponent than week one, was there an area that you guys felt your team could have improved upon what you saw on the field against Sadell, even though that score was such a big win?
Yeah, our composure. There was guys that were excited. We got a lot of guys on this team that haven't really been in a football team or on a varsity football game yet. And last week against West Marshall, things didn't go our way and things were kind of quiet. But this week we're winning. People are happy. People are saying cussing here and there, and we have to take care of that. And we got to let kids know that's not how we celebrate, and we got to win with class. And I think we fixed that very much at the end. But I think we kind of got away from some of our kids and even some of our coaches in that half. And that's something we're definitely cleaned up this week.
Yeah. One of the things that looked just a little bit different, just kind of from a distance perspective, we saw Rudy Papaki in the passing game, at least a little more in some deep passing opportunities. Was that a new wrinkle that you guys threw in last week, or was that kind of a thing that just kind of happened because of the matchup that you guys had?
Well, we know Rudy's a great athlete. I mean, he can catch, he can run, he can block, he can do it all. And we just gave him an opportunity. We seen it, so we took it and put him in that right position, and he made it happen. He left a couple out there that we thought that he kind of could have got another touchdown or so. But it is what it is, and now he knows what the expectation is. And we're getting him out there more often, and he'll be involved in the passing game just as much as we continue this year.
Yeah. Any unsung heroes for you guys in week two? Any plays or efforts that you as a coaching staff really thought stood out from this group against Sadell?
Big, Gavin Bridgewater came back and really shined as a leader this week, and he got player of the week this week for us. Another one, Ethan Cruikshank, continued to impress. Some of the defensive guys, Kyan McBride, he showed us true colors as a leader, and him stepping it up. He's only a junior, him and Gavin, but he definitely stepped it up. He was the only player we had with 10 plus tackles, and I would say, we had some freshman kids that came in and sophomore kids that came in and really produced for us. They didn't play the second half, and when they came in, they took full advantage of every second. So our future's bright, and we're continuing to move forward.
Yep. Looking ahead to Grinnell, a big rivalry game as always. This is a different looking Grinnell team than what you saw last year. A lot of seniors graduated off of that roster, a new quarterback, a lot of new skill positions, players for them. What is your scouting report looking like on this Grinnell team, and what do you think some of your keys to victory might be this week against Grinnell?
No turnovers. We got to take care of the ball. I think the team with the less turnovers or no turnovers could come out victorious this one. I think maybe a turnover on special teams or just a mistake here and there is what's going to cost us a game. And we're prepared. We're prepared. These kids want to win. It's been marked on our calendar. We want those helmets back in our hallways, and these kids are pumped and they're ready to go.
Mm-hmm. You speak about the Steve Kriegel Memorial Trophy, a part of kind of the lineage of this matchup since the mid-'90s. What are some of the memories that come to your mind when you think about this Grinnell matchup? We've played Grinnell now every year for 3 decades probably. You've been a player and a coach for South Tama. What comes to mind when you think South Tama and Grinnell on a football field?
It's football. That is Friday night football from where I'm from South Tama. We play Grinnell, we go to Grinnell. It is Friday night football. The town comes out, they want to see us win. Grinnell wants to come down here and they think they're going to win, and they'll travel well, just like we travel well down there. It is community. It's community coming out supporting their teams, and those helmets mean a lot. Every year you get them. I don't care if you get them year after year. Grinnell's had a few years where they got the last 4 years, and we went 4 or 5 years in a row. Every year you get that trophy, it's earned, and you want it, and you're proud as heck to have that trophy and those helmets, and we want them back.
Talk to me a little bit about your injury report for this week. How are you guys looking health-wise now a day away from game day on Friday?
We're looking good, and besides normal wear and tear from football and bumps and bruises, we're fine. I mean, this is probably the healthiest group we've had in quite a few years, with not people binged up and dinged up and losing guys at practice. So right now we're doing pretty good.
So talking about practice this week, you guys have had nice weather and a full week to get some work in. One of the traditions you guys have is the Practice Captain Award. Talk to us a little bit about this week's Practice Captain and what you saw from them and their effort this week in practice.
Again, the practice captain is a guy players, captains, and coaches think about work the best in practice and gave us their best effort no matter what. This week really went out to a practice player right now, Hayden Brandon. He's ineligible right now for a grade situation, so he won't even get a play tomorrow night, but he gives us 110% effort. He's probably the best tackler on the team. We can't wait till we get him back next week, and he is above and beyond practice captain and earned it, and it was all from effort and hard work.
Yep. So Hayden Brandon, tell us a little bit about the position he plays, some of the role he plays on this team, at least in practice right now.
Well, defensive-wise, he's one of the best tacklers on the team. He's in the backfield. He disrupts us when we're trying to do our offense. He makes it difficult, so he gives us real looks. He's going 110%. There's sometimes, when guys aren't sure what to do on defense, our offense looks so good because, he can run somebody over. He doesn't allow that. So if you come to his side, you better be ready and have your chin strap buckled because he's going to hit you. And he does a fantastic job of tackling. He kind of reminds me of the Probasco brothers back in the day, the little rat. They just comes up and you can't get by him. He wraps your legs and it's over.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks so much, Coach. Best of luck to you on Friday. That was South Tama head varsity coach Nate Dorn.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Welcome back to Trojan Country. We're live from STC Trojan Field. Thanks for being with us here. It's the pregame show. We're about 19 minutes away from kickoff from STC Trojan Field. South Tama taking on Grinnell. Darvin Graham and George Cuter here with you this evening. I'm going to welcome in my co-host, George. Welcome back to Trojan Country. Glad you could be with us.
Hey, it's good to be back. I love this. This is great. High school football.
Yeah, beautiful weather.
Yep.
We've got two rival teams here on the field, and we're excited to be here.
Yep.
I'm going to run through an area scoreboard for you from last week, a busy week all around the state of Iowa. We'll start first with the Class 3A District 3 standings. A bit of an unusual start to this season. West Delaware, after a big playoff run last year, they've started 0-2. Of course, it's been against some very talented competition, just like this Grinnell team. I saw Harlan and who was it they played first week? Do you remember off the top of your head?
They played Harlan and Benton Community.
Benton, yeah. So two ranked teams, and West Delaware, kind of the same prognosis for them in the first couple of weeks. They're starting winless. So last week they played Xavier. Nobody likes to go to Xavier. Boo parochial schools. But anyway, 44-7 was the final score there, and West Delaware 0-2. They are, and it doesn't get any easier. Not that I feel bad for West Delaware. They're going to be fine. But they are going to Decorah today, so a big trip for them. See if they can kind of right the ship, and I'm sure once kind of district play begins here in a couple weeks, things will shake themselves out. But anyway, Hampton Dumont Cal leads the district right now. They are 2-0 in the season. They got a win against Iowa Falls Alden, 34-7. They're 2-0. They play Southeast Valley tonight. Then it's the Independence Mustangs. They are also 2-0 and won a close one against Clear Creek Amana, 13-7 at home last week. They host West Liberty tonight over up in Independence. Centerpoint Urbana, they are 1-1. They got a loss after a week 1 win over Vinton Shellsburg. They had to go to Benton last week, and the final score there was 37-7. They face Union tonight. Union, I believe, 0-2 over in LaPorte City, so that should be a competitive game, I believe. South Tama, of course, we said 53-0, taking out Sadell in week 2, getting their first win of the year. They're 1-1, and they've got Grinnell tonight. So we're going to have all that action coming your way here in about 15, 16 minutes. Charles City, the other team we haven't talked about in Class 3A District 3, they played New Hampton last week. They also lost, and 36-7 was the final score against New Hampton. Charles City falls to 0-2. So Charles City, West Delaware at the bottom of the standings right now, and Charles City going over to Mason City tonight for their Week 3 game. Then further down, kind of looking around our region, West Marshall, they got a close win over Nevada. Nevada, they're ranked this year. I haven't seen much from them video-wise, but they're up there. They got a 35-31 win against Nevada, and they're 2-0. They go to South Hamilton tonight. Benton, as we said, got a win over CPU, 37-7. They're at Marion tonight. They're 2-0. Grinnell, big loss, 63-6 against a talented Harlan team. We're going to break them down, break that game down here in a little bit, and not much happening really. That's long story short. Harlan kind of had their way with Grinnell in week 2, and the final score there, 63-6. They're 0-2 to start. Then Union took a loss, 42-7 to Denver. They're 0-2. Up in North Tama, they got a loss and kind of were upset a little bit by AGWSR. North Tama, I think, preseason ranked midway into the Class A rankings, and they've fallen out after their loss to AGWSR. It was 28-0, the final score there. They're 1-1, and they host Hudson tonight. That's North Tama. Gladbrook Rhinebeck, perennial powerhouse over in Class 8 player. They got a win 54-14 against Colonesco, and they traveled to Dunkerton tonight. GMG got a loss last week to Collins Maxwell, 56-6. They traveled to Clarksville, and wrapping up your area scoreboard tonight, East Marshall lost to a ranked Roland Story team, 47-7. They're 0-2, and East Marshall travels to Linville Sully tonight. All right, we are going to jump into our next segment. It's a look at the cross-country season, an exciting run for this boys team, and a lot of great stuff happening over on the cross-country side. We're going to quickly jump over to that. You're listening to Trojan Country. We'll be right back after this. Medicap Pharmacy in Toledo offers free medication packaging and free delivery to surrounding areas. With convenient drive-up service and hours on Saturday morning, Medicap Pharmacy is always there for you. Visit with pharmacist Derek Townsend and his team by calling 484-6198 or stop by their location across from Fairway in Toledo. Medicap Pharmacy, locally owned and expertly operated. You're listening to Trojan Country. Today I'm joined by South Tama Cross Country Assistant Coach Baron Davis. Baron, thanks for taking some time for us here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So we're at approximately week 3 of the high school cross-country season now, and South Tama has run in 3 meets so far, with another set for early next week. But before we dive into the current season, I'd like to talk some about how the off-season went for you guys and for your athletes. Tell me a little bit about how the summer weeks looked for this group of kids. What were some of their off-season training plans after the track season got done with? And then also, what were some of the improvements that you as a coaching staff kind of saw from this group that spent time in the summer getting ready for the season?
The kids really used last track season as a lot of motivation going forward. We saw a lot of excitement out of these kids coming out of this. They had a lot of success this track season, placing in that 4x8 and getting some medals in 800 and a mile. It really got some excitement in the team, and they were ready to carry that into the cross season. We had our best participation in our summer workouts that we've ever seen since Coach T and I have been together, and so that was fun. We'd get together every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we had really good turnouts this year compared to past years, and it was just that excitement in the kids you could feel it, and they were put out more miles than they had any summer, and it was really fun to be a part of that and watch them grow together.
Yeah, absolutely. We're joining you kind of at the tail end of a practice here as we're getting ready. You're getting ready for your STC meet coming up next week. I just happened to notice you guys have these big water troughs that I saw you emptying it out. Just tell me a little bit about how does that play into the practice routine for you guys?
I mean, ice baths are great for the kids. We do them typically after our harder days. It helps the body to recover a little more quickly, so we can get back to hard workouts more quickly. If nothing else, team bonding. I mean, you get into a tub of water, it's 50 degrees together with your teammates, and you guys get a lot closer.
Right.
I think a lot of the kids enjoy it, and it's pretty cool, and it helps them recover, and I think they really get a lot out of it too. So
nice.
Yeah.
So I want to take a second and just get a snapshot of who this varsity team is for both the girls and the boys, who some of these runners are for you guys this year. Could you maybe just kind of run down some of the names that are running for varsity, what some of their strengths are, and what they're working on to improve this season a little bit, if you could?
Well, we only got two girls that are running varsity currently. I think we got a few that we might bump up here soon if they can make some strides. We got a lot of newer kids on the girls' side, so we're letting them get some experience on JV, get their times down to where they're a little more varsity competitive. But we have been running Kayla Heck. She had a great summer. She's coming in and she's already running faster than she was last year, I think, on some of her times. I think she kind of learned, again, kind of a little bit like the boys, had a decent track season and understood that she could just carry that in, and she had a great summer. Maylee Ellsbury, obviously wrestling's her number one sport, but she's here working hard, and we're trying to nurse her through some injuries, but she's one of the hardest workers we've seen, and she's going to go out and give you that wrestling mentality in every race, and so we like having her, and she's a great addition and works really hard.
Yeah.
So.
And then for the boys?
The boys, obviously, Tommy and James are two studs. They got big goals this year individually. I mean, I think they both can challenge for top 10 at state, and I think they'll be disappointed if they don't pull that off. They're doing great. They had great summer training. Moving on down there, Braxton has made a huge jump. He got down to 18 finally last meet, and I think he's going to be 17. I hope he can be 17:30 by the end. Cade Rosenberger ran track last year for the first time, and I think that got him excited. He got to team up with Tommy and James and Braxton some. Jonathan Meyer was a senior last year, but he was on that track team, and that kind of
brought them together.
Yeah, brought them together. He motivated him a bit, and he had a great summer too. So those are our top four. They're strong, and I think we could, by the end of this season, have 4 guys under 18, and that's a pretty formidable team. And then we got another strong group, Holden and Caden Copps and more juniors.
Big junior class for you guys.
Big junior class. All 6 of those are juniors, and actually those 2 girls are juniors too.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We got Caden, I mean, he did a lot of golfing in the summer, but he's coming in. He's working himself into shape right now. I mean, he's going to be there at the end. We know he's a big, strong kid, hard worker. I mean, he'll be there at the end where we want him. Holden made a huge jump. I mean, he was running 20 minutes last year. He's already well under 20 this year. Big jump for him. After being injured in track season, I think he missed it because he missed it most of the track season, I believe. And I think that motivated him to get back and to be a part of this team here. Yeah. And he had a great summer. He was at almost every summer practice. And Cale Graff, and again, he came to every summer practice this year. Did not do that last year. Again, he wants to join that. He wants to be a part of that group of juniors. I mean, and he's working his way there. And then we have Barrett Jacina, freshman. We got big goals for him. He ran middle school state the last 2 years. Ran very well. He's already up there running with those juniors as a freshman. And we're just preaching him confidence, because I think when he clicks, and I think every one of these juniors will tell you, he's going to be something special. So we're really looking forward to Barrett's growth.
That's awesome. So talk to us a little bit about the 3 meets that you guys have run so far. You started with Marshalltown, as is usual for this team. Then it was Williamsburg and Grinnell. I know it maybe felt like a little bit of a blur, kind of speeding through some of these weeks. But what were some of your takeaways from the first part of this season?
We were yet to put it all together. I mean, we've been missing our runner in every meet so far of those core guys we just talked about. On the boys' side, we've been missing one in every meet so far, so we're still yet to run at full strength, and we're competitive, not at full strength. I mean, so that's been pretty cool. Got the boys really excited for, hopefully we put it together at our home meet for the home fans, and I mean, we got to go put on a show at home. So I think that'd be the big thing, is let's just get everybody healthy at the same time. Right. That'd be the big thing.
That makes sense. Yep. And then looking ahead, a few short weeks really separating now from conference meet time, state qualifying meet time. What are some of the things that you work on at this stage of the season to improve upon? Do you feel like there's room for growth for this team as they're trying to get a state meet berth as a group. And
First time in school history.
Yeah, absolutely. A historic attempt here. And what do you feel like they could improve upon as they move forward with their season?
Our emphasis at this point of the season is quality over quantity. I mean, we want to see your higher mileage in the summer when you get that base built and all that stuff. But then as we get to this point in the season, we want to be able to keep the legs fresh, and it's all about quality. So we're doing shorter intervals to work on speed. We're attacking hills, which we did today. And I mean, that's our philosophy really, is quality at this point in the season, because you can build your speed a little bit. You should. I mean, the good teams have their bases built at this stage of the game. I mean, you still do your long runs and stuff, but it's, I mean, our philosophy, and it's worked, and it's always, and in past years we've seen times drop, and so we're going to stick to it because it's been working.
Right.
So.
You bet. All right. Well, thanks so much, Coach, for the time, and best of luck this upcoming season. A lot of meets to get to, and a home one here coming up on Monday. So that was South Tama assistant cross country coach Baron Davis.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
So what are we watching tonight? Cat videos or DIY tutorials?
Neither. Tonight we are premium streaming.
How?
My State Farm agent helped me save money on my auto insurance with safe driving discounts, so I don't have to give up the things I love.
Oh, now we can watch the new season of Iris the Internet Cat.
Cue it up.
For surprisingly great rates, visit Gary Bach State Farm in Toledo for a free quote today.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Welcome back to Trojan Country. Darvin Graham and George Cuter joining you here. Actually, we're going to take a cut away just a moment while we have the National Anthem playing live from STC Trojan Field. We'll be right back with more pregame show after this. If you believe in capturing meaningful moments, you've made it to the right place. The Farmer's Daughter Photography and TFD Films are a proud supporter of Trojan Country and South Tama County activities. Located near Conrad, the Farmer's Daughter Photography and TFD Films offer an array of photo and video services, including family photos, newborns, kids and seniors, weddings, and commercial media. Check them out on the web at tfdphoto.com or on Facebook and Instagram to learn more. When you're looking for a new home or farmland, why not seek the counsel of a friend and expert? Dallas Berm at Exit Holes Realty can answer all your questions about the home buying process. Exit Holes Realty knows Trojan Country better than anyone and can provide the kind of service you've been looking for. So call Dallas Berm at 319-360-1592 to start looking for your new home, and remember to buy with Berm. Welcome back to Trojan Country, live from STC Trojan Field. We're about 3 minutes away from kickoff here of the Steve Kriegel Memorial Trophy Game, the annual Playing of the Helmets. It's the 25th anniversary of this game between, the Memorial Game, I should say, between South Tama and Grinnell in honor of South Tama alum and Grinnell coach Steve Kriegel. Tonight I'm joined by my co-host up in the booth, George Cuter. George, I'm going to have you get going with our starting lineups. Let's go ahead with the South Tama offense to start.
On the South Tama offense, we have, Gavin Bridgewater at the quarterback. He's going to be the linchpin there. At running back, we have Rudy Papaki, and a wing back and a running back, we have Ethan Cruikshank. Like you said, Bridgewater, Papaki, and Cruikshank are all responsible for a lot of offense for the South Tama Trojan team. Our fullback's a little tough kid by the name of Cyrus Mathis. We've got Nolan Upot, wide receiver, Jeremy Dolesh at tight end, Damian Benner at a tackle, Kyan McBride at a guard. Starting it all off is Miguel Medina at center, Daryl Hill is the guard, and Diego Victor is another tackle for the Trojans. They should be, as long as they can get up and get ready to go and get Gavin Bridgewater, Rudy Papaki, and Ethan Cruikshank rolling, we should be able to move the ball on this Grinnell team from what I've seen in warm-ups and what I've seen from film and the coaches and things like that. On the defense for the Tigers, we have they're big up front. We've got on the defensive line, we've got 50 Gene Blaylock, Oliver Loudon, and Dom Clayton. And they've been kind of maturing these kids a little bit. They're sophomores and juniors on this Grinnell team, and they've had a little bit of turnover with their coaching staff. So it's going to be this is going to be a very interesting game because Grinnell is big and tough and strong, and they're really deep. But if we can get to them, I think that we can have a lot of success here with the Trojans. At your linebackers, they're going to run 3 linebackers at you. You've got Tryson Stark, Jared Andrews, and Logan McDonald, names that you've heard because they've had older brothers, kids that play and they play this tough defense that they always do down in Grinnell. In the corners, we have Jack Hempis and Cole Blackford, and at the safeties, we've got Connor Pinchett and Brock Heischman. And those guys, again, this is a lot of junior and senior. They've had some turnover. The schedule that they played, the Grinnell schedule that they played, was set up by their old coach who thought they could be really competitive with this group when they were in middle school. When he left, he kind of left things high and dry, and they just kind of had to start over again the last couple of years. So things are going to be very interesting in this game. I think it could go either way. You're looking at how good is this South Tama team, and they're looking at Harlan and Benton and seeing how good they were against this Grinnell team.
So we are just moments away from kickoff here. Deep to receive. South Tama is going to receive to start this game. We've got Gavin Bridgewater and Ethan Cruikshank back deep for the Trojans.
McCartney's kick deep to Bridgewater.
Bridgewater's going to take it up the middle. Barrels through a couple of tacklers, makes his way out to the 40-yard line, and a nice return there by Gavin Bridgewater to start things off for South Tama, and that's what you love to see here. Some good field position, some positive momentum. Get that quarterback with the football in his hands to really start out and have him see some success. And here now, South Tama is going to start 1st and 10 on the 39-yard line.
And that's exactly what you're going to need out of Gavin Bridgewater. He's worked hard all summer. He's done the things that he needs to do. So what he's going to do is he's going to probably take this team, and even though he's a young guy, he's going to take this team, and we're just going to have to ride him as far as we can.
So Bridgewater in the shotgun on 1st down, pitch off to Papaki. Papaki trying to cut to the edge, left side, just stumbles his way forward, and that's a nice-looking run there by Rudy Papaki for the 1st down.
Exactly, and that's
just using his power, some balance, That's a wrestler right there, able to stay on his toes.
Oh yeah, and that's going to be the thing. Is Bridgewater? They were here all summer long, and that's what they need. They're big, strong kids, and let's just ride them as long as we can.
So we've got 1st and 10 now after the run by Papaki. Bridgewater, pitch off. Papaki the right side now. He's going to try it this time to the far side, and there's nowhere to go. He gets stopped up by the line of scrimmage, bringing up 2nd down.
Yeah, we don't know if they're going to give him a yard. But the focus is going to have to be to one of the things that you mentioned in the pregame show, one of the focuses is going to be on Bridgewater, Cruikshank, and Papaki. So we've got to have some other guys step up on this offensive line to see if we can't make something happen.
And so now 2nd and 10 after the run for no gain by Papaki. Mathis in motion, lines up in the middle. Fake to Papaki. It's going to be a screen pass to Cruikshank. Cruikshank evading defenders down to the 40-yard line. A positive gain there for Ethan Cruikshank on his first pass of the night. So gain of close to 7 yards there for the senior wideout. And
yeah, I like this look. We're going to go fast.
Yep, absolutely. Bridgewater looking to go ahead. Turning left, finds a hole. Gavin Bridgewater out to the races, and Bridgewater's going to open with a touchdown. South Tama leading early. Gosh, you love to see that.
Oh, yeah. Get it out early, and that's the thing that you're going to have to go. When he's running with the ball like that, I like the plain and simple fact that he could pitch that ball, and if he pitches that ball, Rudy Papaki is ready for it, but if he keeps that ball, I don't think there's very many cornerbacks in the state that can take him down.
Gosh, you don't want to see the runner-up in the 220-pound class from a state wrestler looking at you eye to eye when you're a cornerback in an open field situation.
Yeah.
And so Gavin Bridgewater kind of dictates the narrative right there, and South Tama is leading 6-0 here on Rivalry night. Eddie Garcia is going to try the extra point for South Tama. He kept busy last week, got a lot of opportunity against Sadell and all those touchdowns, and the PAT is good.
And that's what we want from our soccer players. We need them to be. We need the good legs, and we just want to keep this. The biggest thing is the coaching staff understands. Coach Doran, Coach Aarons, they just got to. If they get an initial push, or if they get something that's going to come inside, if you get Bridgewater on the outside, the kid's got wheels. For a big guy, about 220 pounds, he can move the football. And, like you said, Darvin, and the other option is then you got Rudy Papaki at probably 230 pounds coming at you.
Yep.
So it's for one of these little tiny cornerbacks, who do you want to hit hardest?
Yeah, exactly. That's really where South Tama's skill comes in.
Exactly.
Their difference makers are their big bodies in the backfield. And some speed with a couple of the wideouts. And it's going to have to be those guys. This team is not that deep. You can just see it on the sideline comparing these two squads. But South Tama up early here after they march down the field, and Gavin Bridgewater caps off that drive with a touchdown. So here's the kickoff now from Eddie Garcia. Up the field is Brock Heichman, and he's brought down just past the 30-yard line in Grinnell territory. Daryl Hill on the tackle for South Tama, and that'll set up Grinnell and quarterback Brady Kaufman from the 33-yard line in their own territory. 1st and 10. We're just over 10 minutes away in the first quarter. Here on Trojan Country, live from STC Field in Tama.
This is where things can go a little bit wackadoodle for this Trojan defense here.
Here's a handoff.
There you go.
To number 3. This was Cole Blackford, the starting running back. He makes his way up to the 40-yard line. Not enough for a first down, but a solid gain there by the junior. Blackford, he's 5'10", 160. That'll bring up 2nd down and 3 with the ball on the 40-yard line.
Here we go.
Kaufman in the shotgun. One back to his left. He hands it off to Tristan Stark. And Stark is driven to the turf near the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of a yard on that one. And here we have a 3rd down situation. This is exactly what Coach Doran and his defense were hoping for here. Just an opportunity to put some pressure on this Grinnell team, kind of make them sweat a little bit. And now we've got a 3rd down situation, 3rd and 2. Grinnell split out with wide receivers on both ends. Kaufman looking to throw, connects with Brady Johnson, and Johnson's down for a first down. He gets knocked out of bounds by Papaki, but not after a gain of probably close to 12 yards there, makes his way into South Tama territory.
And that's a little bit hitch and go. And one of the things that they're going to do with this defense is they're going to try and get them into where Kaufman is comfortable throwing the ball, because if they can get outside on South Tama, there's going to be a little bit of a
Kaufman low snap, bobbles it away, and that's going to be a sack. South Tama. Yeah. That was number 61, Kyan McBride, getting in there for the sack, and South Tama's defense getting busy early. That was kind of predicated on a misstep by the Grinnell offense, but McBride right there to capitalize. And a sack brings up 2nd down.
That's handling the ball. That's kind of a rookie. The one thing that the coach staff was worried about is that transition from center to quarterback. And there's not very many plays you can do and you can have success with if they can't get the ball started with each other.
Kaufman with Stark in the backfield. Handoff to Stark. And he maybe regains the yards that were lost by the sack from McBride, but still a 11, 12-yard situation here on 3rd down for this Grinnell team. Third and 11, I'm going to call it, right on the 50-yard line. And Grinnell not wasting any time here. This game's moving right along as both offenses moving quickly. Here's Kaufman looking deep, has a receiver, double teamed, and that's no good. Pass was incomplete for the intended receiver. Number 6, Brock Heichman, goes long with Clegg and Upa in on the defense there. And that'll bring up 4th down. So South Tama forcing a 3rd and out on Grinnell's first trip down the field. They barely get it into South Tama territory, and the sack by McBride sets them back at the 50-yard line, and now it's a punting situation here for the Tigers.
And this could be, yep, he moved. Had a tackle move on that, so they're going to back him up, which probably was one of those things. They take the movement on the line, gives them just an extra 5 yards to kind of pooch this and see if they can't get it within the 10-yard lines. But you know that they're going to try and get this with these two in the backfield that are going to catch this ball. There's a good chance that with a running start, you're not going to catch Gavin Bridgewater.
So here's the punt.
Oh, that's not good.
And a short one bounces near the 30-yard line, and it's going to roll all the way down to the 10, where South Tama will let it go out of bounds. And that'll give South Tama a long field to work with, but a nice turn of events here for South Tama's defense. They get a 3 and out, and things looking up here for South Tama in the first quarter. We got about 7.5 minutes to go yet in the first.
This could be a quick game if they stay on the ground.
Right.
Of course, hopefully, it's going to stop when South Tama gets the touchdown, but everything there, let's have it stop about 25 times.
So here's Upa split to the near side. Bridgewater is going to hand off to Papaki. Papaki into the middle, and the scrum in the middle there brings Papaki down after a gain of a couple yards.
Yep. We got a little problem here with one of the Grinnell players. I think that's number 87 down on the field.
Keln. He was listed as a linebacker.
Yeah, one of those linebackers are going to bring in on a hot night to spell them. That's the thing. One of the things that I've noticed with this game is what they're doing is they're collapsing. If Rudy's going to run up the middle and on that handoff, they're collapsing 3 guys around him and bringing a linebacker. So one of the things I think they're doing is they're probably taking these linebackers and they're just spying.
Right.
And they're just going to stick on Papaki and Bridgewater. And this happens to be Gavin Bridgewater was the one that called the trainer over, and he was the first one when this kid went down. So
knew something
wasn't going to happen
beyond
there.
Cramp maybe.
And it didn't look like he, it looked like one of those when you're running through the park and step in a hole type of things because there wasn't anybody really blocking him.
Yep.
So he may have just taken a misstep or something. It looks like a knee. Hopefully they get him up and he's okay.
I'd like to remind you to stick around for the Gary Bach State Farm Insurance halftime show. We're going to be joined by the South Tama County Fair Queen, Kalyn Murty, also a South Tama student here this year. And we're going to hear a special interview with her. And we're also going to talk about Steve Kriegel, the namesake for the Steve Kriegel Memorial Trophy game, hear a little bit about his impact in the Grinnell and South Tama communities. And so stick around for the Gary Bach State Farm Insurance halftime show coming up later this evening. And Keln getting helped off the field here, not moving very quickly, so that's not a good sign for his outlook here, maybe the rest of the way.
It's not a normal everyday injury, and hopefully he's okay, because you remember a couple of years ago we were here, and one of that big Souser kid who's playing at Iowa State now, he broke his leg or something.
Right.
Didn't he? Then that kind of spun things out of control for Grinnell for a couple of games because he's an all-state selection. And his dad was the coach who moved on to Ames, and that's where the younger brother he's playing. And so best of luck to them. Haven't seen how they're doing, but this is, he's walking off. He's pretty tender. But
I'd like to remind folks to South Tama fans, get out to the STC home cross-country meet coming up this Monday, 4:30 the start time. Over on the soccer field is where the start and end point is going to be. So if you're in town on Monday, we got an exciting boys team competing this year. You heard from Coach Barron Davis earlier in the pregame. Make sure to stop out and cheer on the Trojans this Monday for their STC home cross country meet. So here is Bridgewater on a 2nd and 10.
Keep.
Quarterback keeper up the middle, and
Holding.
Bridgewater, he's carrying bodies with him about every time. He's got a good hole to run through.
I think we may have a hold on South Tama. There's a flag in the backfield. So that's going to negate that. Nice gain.
Yep. Yeah, nice looking run there. But so the penalty will push South Tama back closer and closer to their own end zone. That's going to be a...
Oh, what?
I'm not sure what we're...
Legal block in the back.
Okay.
How
I didn't catch that one. But,
no. Well, usually happen. Well, that's in the area where you're holding, and you got to... If you have a fullback in Cyrus Mathis and a tailback in Rudy Papaki, and both of them went out wide. So I don't understand that unless somebody got through the line and one of the linemen pushed somebody backwards. But that's a strange call for.
So now 2nd and long for Bridgewater and company.
Get up,
Bridgewater,
get around
quarterback
him.
keeper, and he's going to be brought down near the 5-yard line, just beyond the 5, well short of the first down, and now a 3rd down situation for South Tama as they're going to be faced with a long yardage situation here with 6:49 on the clock in the first period.
And this is where the razzle-dazzle comes in. Let's see what Bridgewater can do. He throws a nice tight spiral in warm-ups and everything, and see if we can't get somebody split out and catch the ball. Just all you got to do is get to the first down marker to just move those chains.
So Bridgewater with Upa, Clegg, and Dolash split as the receivers. Clegg in the slot. He's had some flashes of brilliance. There's Nolan Upa, the intended receiver, and the pass was short by Bridgewater. Bridgewater feeling some pressure there, backed up against his own end zone, and that'll bring up 4th down. Rudy Papaki coming on to punt for South Tama. So Papaki will line up
in the end zone. Counting his men. And this is a dangerous situation.
Right.
Because he's got to get this ball up quickly. And that's one of the things. Rudy is hot and cold as a punter. And that's one thing that we've noticed from him. Get that thing up.
Snap off to Papaki. The punt is high.
Get away from the ball.
Intended receiver. Well, the punt receiver was Blackford, but it didn't get anywhere close to him. The ball falls down and will be downed just beyond the 25-yard line in South Tama territory. So now the rubber meets the road here for this STC defense.
Right.
As they're going to be faced with a short field and a Grinnell team that's hungry for the end zone.
Coming early. So we're going to see what we're going to made of. If we can get a stand like we had the last time, I think everything is going to be okay. And maybe we got to rush this quarterback a little bit and make him make some choices.
So Kaufman, the quarterback in the shotgun, low snap again. This time a handoff. Man. I think it was Blackford, the running back. And Blackford advances forward about 3-4 yards. Closer to 6. So second and 5, 2nd and 6, the call. 2nd down on the 22-yard line. The Tigers just with one receiver off to the far side. For Kaufman, he's got a whole set of backs in the backfield. Fake handoff. Kaufman's going to keep it, and he's brought down near the line of scrimmage. That was Ethan Crookshank coming up from the cornerback. Sniffed it out, brought him down. And Crookshank forces the third down situation coming again. Grinnell warming up a kicker here, so we might see a field goal if they feel a little froggy. We'll see. But first, it's going to be 3rd down and 6 on the 23-yard line for Kaufman and company. The handoff to Blackford. No, Stark, the running back this time, and Stark is driven back short of the first down.
They're just getting nothing up the middle. I mean, those are runs for losses.
4th and a close 3 is what South Tama's looking at here on the 20-yard line. They're gonna go for it.
We're gonna try and draw them off.
Yep.
Yep. I can't see them. Oh, nope. They snapped
Kaufman,
it.
hand off to Stark. Stark marches his way up the middle, and Stark in for a first down and then some. So the Tigers converting, and now they're threatening well into the red zone after the run by senior Tristan Stark. He's one of the only key one of the key returners in from a skill position standpoint. And get that out. But Stark there getting the first down. Now 1st and 10 on the 10. Low snap again and a sack.
Geez, that's nope.
Almost a fumble. Rudy Papaki almost got that thing gobbled up, and man, would that have been a turn.
If I was Coach Haydenfeld, I would have somebody over there snapping a football that can get it back there, because this ball, you can't see. I mean, when you're looking at it and you're looking at it on the video, you can see the thing is just scooting right across about maybe 1.5 feet across the ground. It looks like you've got an inexperienced snapper, which, you know, the experience on this team, they graduated a lot of kids, but they're young.
And it's early in the season yet, so they haven't had, full season to work with.
Right. But it just looks like they're just a little bit they're out of sync.
Right. Here's going to be another handoff to Stark, and Stark getting plenty of room to run, and he brings it down near the goal line, short of the touchdown.
Another 12 yards for him. So he's having a decent beginning to his night, and this is going to be one of those, though. I think they're going to do Stark, Kaufman are going to be probably the meat and the bones of this Grinnell team, kind of like Bridgewater and Papaki are for South Tama.
So Stark again, the back behind Kaufman, and another bobbled snap, but Stark comes up with it. He hits the wall, though, and he's going to be brought down short of the touchdown. And so broken play after broken play is what we're seeing. All kinds of Trojans getting involved there. 2:52 on the clock if you're sticking with us here in the first period, as Grinnell trying to get their first score of the game. South Tama leading 7-0.
Oh, jeez.
And Kaufman going to rescue another low snap, and he's in for a touchdown this time.
Yep.
And so Grinnell strikes next after the keeper into the end zone for quarterback, Brady Kaufman.
Brady Kaufman is scrambling because he's got to look down to get the ball off the ground, and it just seems like there's a South Tama lineman or linebacker in their backfield, which you're kind of expecting on a night like this. That's kind of, got to get that extra guy in there. Let's see what happens here.
Looking for the block.
There it is.
Block PAT, South
Tama. PAT. Yeah.
That was number 4, Jose Ortega,
yep.
And a couple other Trojans getting involved there. So South Tama going to maintain a 1-point lead here on Steve Kriegel Memorial Trophy Night, the playing of the helmets. And it's been a fun one so far.
It's been a fun one so far. I don't want to be a holder or a quarterback with this center. Not saying anything. The kid's probably a great kid. I don't know. He's probably a good-looking kid and great at school. But for crying out loud, that thing is scooting across the ground, and the holder never had a chance.
Right.
He couldn't even get the ball on the tee before there's about 3 South Tama guys in the backfield. So. It could be, it could be a huge difference.
Right.
Because now, it's going to force Grinnell to go for 2 on their next touchdown if they get another touchdown. So, special teams, I'm telling you.
Important.
Yeah. Every coach, college coaches know that. Some of them do. Here we go again. I wonder if they're going to kick it away from Bridgewater.
So we got Bridgewater, Crookshank set deep for South Tama. And it'll be Bridgewater to receive again. He's cutting to the left, breaking a couple of tackles. Bridgewater, a nice return again. Not quite as long as the first time out, but he's going to make it all the way down near the 35-yard line for South Tama to get a little more breathing room here and there. Late first period drive here.
I'm going to give him about 20 yards for that, but that's all just smash mouth football right there. Get him the ball, and he's going to run. And it's just so far, after watching him on your broadcast and seeing this and listening to you last week, I'm pretty impressed with Bridgewater at how hard he's playing.
Yep.
After he took his lumps against West Marshall.
So a handoff to Papaki. Papaki into a whole pack of Tigers, and he's brought down near the 35-yard line, gain of a couple of yards there. But still good to see positive yardage, the line moving forward. Yep. Some silver linings to be taken away all throughout here. Now it's Bridgewater, quarterback keeper. Another couple of yards, bites that off. A couple of yards down to the 39-yard line for third down.
And that's what we really need to see is that they're just getting a play and they're turning around and they're going to run at them and just keep moving these guys. They have Grinnell has a very large team. They got a lot of kids on their sideline, but I don't think they have the experience. It's a lot of sophomores, a lot of juniors, and that's the whole.
Crookshank in motion. He's going to bobble, and that's a loose ball down on the field. We're going to see, I think Crookshank saved it, but that's going to be a tackle for a loss after a miscommunication between quarterback and halfback there. And that'll bring up fourth down. So a costly penalty, not a penalty, but a costly misstep on third down will send Rudy Papaki back into punt.
He needs to get one off here, and that's a critical. It looked like it was a high pitch, and he never really got it into his hands.
Papaki punting away to Cole Blackford. It bounces, rolls, and it'll rest near the 30-yard line, picked up by Nolan Upa. And South Tama will go to work on defense once again.
Yep.
So we've seen flashes. We saw a first drive 3 and out forced by the STC defense. We've seen a sack. We've seen a couple sacks. We've seen a block PAT. So some great effort here from this Trojans team on rivalry night. And you expect to see that, and it's great to see that here after we've had some years where that's maybe not been the case every time out. Tonight, I don't think that is one of those cases. We've got two teams playing hard here.
Exactly. And like everybody was talking about, it's going to be this Grinnell team. How good are they? How good was Harlan? How good was Benton? They're very good teams. West Marshall, we took some lumps. But with South Tama, the thing that you have to understand is they're going to take a little time out here. The thing you have to understand with the South Tama team is that there's probably, if you look down on the sidelines, there's maybe 25 kids dressed.
Yep.
And you're playing 11 at a time. I counted them up. I think we have 3 kids that aren't playing both ways. But as the game wears on, you're going to have to count on some of these kids.
Right.
You got Juan Robles. He's one of the only ones that's playing.
Kind of one-sided. Just a couple kids playing one side of the ball, yeah.
And then, you get later in the game, and if Grinnell can keep these sustained drives, and you've got these kids playing both ways, and now they're chasing, which is hard to do. Grinnell doesn't have that. Grinnell's got their athletes, and they're building around this. They're building around a core of sophomores like we are, and but they have kids to come in. Looking across, they probably have 40 kids dressed. I know that they have some freshmen that are still there. They can play some, and you just have to have a body to spell you for about 2 or 3 plays, just so you can get that breath back in your system and kind of refresh yourself.
Coming out of the timeout, South Tama and Grinnell, the Tigers on offense, looking at a 1st and 10 on the 26-yard line, just under a minute on the clock left in the first period. South Tama leading by 1. Here's Kaufman on a quarterback keeper. He's had that available, and Kaufman
just hit him.
Working his way to the right side. Tyrus Clegg wraps him up finally near the 43, 44-yard line in South Tama territory, but that's a big run by the Grinnell quarterback, Brady Kaufman, to start off this drive.
About a 24-yard run for him, which erases his negative total for the game, but that was a nice keep. That was a fake handoff, and unfortunately our line just kind of got sucked into fouling the ball to the other side of the field.
So Kaufman and the Tigers now set up just beyond the 50-yard line. Here's a handoff to a Tiger I have not seen yet.
He's a new one.
That was
24.
24. That's Kennick Johnson, a junior, Junior back, 5'9", 190.
Picks up about 6 yards there. I don't know if anybody else is seeing this, but I see that number 60 on the far side just popping up and moving. And there he goes again. He's moving his feet before the ball is snapped.
And off to Johnson, and Johnson's dropped in the backfield.
Got a first down.
That was number 9, Gavin Bridgewater coming in.
Good spot.
On the stop, bringing up a 3rd and short.
Good spot. I don't know if the line judge on the Grinnell side is saying anything, but they've got a tackle who's on the outside who just he gets himself down into stance. It's not a 3-point stance. It's kind of on his knees, and his head just keeps, and everything just keeps moving up. So I wonder if we're not going to have one of the South Tama coaches in the booth notice that and have Coach Doran say something to the line judge over there that he keeps moving.
So after quarter number 1, South Tama leading 7-6 as we go to break here. You're listening to Trojan Country. We'll be back after this.
I'm Sarah Smith, and I'm running for Iowa House District 53. As a lifelong Iowan and a native of Poweshiek County, I know this district well, and I have a vested interest in its success. In my leadership roles as a mom, coach, business professional, and a devoted member of my community, I know how to advocate for what matters most. Learn more about my campaign and my platform at sarahsmithforiowa.com. Paid for by Sarah Smith for Iowa.
You've changed thousands of diapers, cut off hundreds of bread crusts, played hours of peekaboo and duck duck goose, because you'd do anything for your kids. That's why it's so important to protect them with life insurance from State Farm. State Farm agent Gary Bach makes it easy and affordable to help protect your family, no matter what the future holds. Because for the people you'd do anything for, life insurance could mean everything. Call State Farm agent Gary Bach in Toledo today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back. We're live from STC Trojan Field. Darvin Graham and George Cuter with you. We're starting the second period here. Grinnell working its way near the red zone. Brady Kaufman there, the quarterback keeper to start the second quarter. He takes it just down near the 30-yard line. And that'll move the chains.
Don't let him move. We don't want him to move that line. He's going to be, I think he's making the decision whether to keep the ball or not. You've got that a little back in there. I think they made some few adjustments there on the timeout, and they came out and played defense because they seemed to be effectively moving the ball, running that little option play. There it is in the backfield. He's not going to cut across there. Nice job, Gavin. Nice job, Gavin Bridgewater.
So Bridgewater gets the tackle in the backfield. And you can see here, strong student section out for both South Tama and Grinnell crowds. Having a good time here on Football Friday. This might be the fullest home game I've seen in a little while.
Yeah.
This is a great-looking crowd we have here tonight.
It's a great sign. Well, when you beat somebody 53-0, that kind of has a tendency to bring the kids out, fans out, and doesn't help. It's little kid cheerleader night either.
You got to have those. And here's Kaufman going deep, and that's going to be a completion to number 18, Carson Penich, and that will give
28 yards.
The Tigers another goal line opportunity here with just under opening minutes of the second period. A first and goal on the 5-yard line, and a flag is out here shortly after the ball is snapped.
A false start on Grinnell. They're moving. Yep, I think they may have figured it out.
Yep. False start against against Grinnell. So
trying to pick up a little pace a little bit after a long play like that, sprinting down the field. The linemen are kind of a little out of gas, and they finally caught number 60 popping his head up and moving his shoulders a little bit there.
So it'll be Stark and Kaufman in the backfield. Braden Johnson and Penich, who just got that long 24-yard reception a moment ago, split left, but it's going to be the handoff to Blackford. Blackford driven back by Mathis, Papaki, and a whole host of Trojans.
They lose about 3 on that one.
And that'll bring up second and goal on the 6 for Grinnell.
Come on, here we go. 3 points would be excellent.
Grinnell putting 4 receivers out wide, maybe a little trickery here. On second down.
It's going to be a run. Nope, over his shoulder.
And incomplete pass will bring up third down. Kaufman's pass to Penich. Kind of slants right, goes out of bounds. Just got rushed there a little bit. Not enough time to let that play develop. And that'll bring up third and goal.
They just look rushed. They just look like they're Grinnell. This is not a Grinnell team that we've seen in the past where they're very methodical about moving the ball. It's just kind of they're moving too fast for themselves. It's like they're having a hard time catching up with themselves.
So now Kaufman will hand it off, and it'll be Kennick Johnson near the goal line, stopped up short of the goal, but the Tigers right on the doorstep here. After Kennick Johnson his run will be short, but that'll be fourth down. So a decision coming here, and the Tigers are going to take a timeout.
You think about what they're going to do. You have to really think about what you're going to do because in a game like this, especially with that block PAT, I think you're going to want to, with the way the center has been performing, you want to make sure that you can get points on the board. And maybe the safest way they think they can get points on the board is by going for it here. But if we go for it, we got to make a stop.
And so a quick broadcast update note for you. Make sure to tune in to Trojan Country. We're going to be live on Tuesday night. We're going to have the STC volleyball game. They're going to be on the road to Williamsburg. We'll have all that action live from the Williamsburg High School Gymnasium coming up Tuesday night, starting around 7 o'clock. Tune in to us here at Trojan Country, and we'll have all that live volleyball coverage. So here is Grinnell on fourth down, and they're going for it. And who can blame them after that last trip down the field?
Yep.
They've had those, and another short snap, and that's going to be a tackle for a loss. Turnover on
Big
downs.
Loss.
We heard it from Coach Doran in the pregame. Whoever wins the turnover battle is going to win this game.
Yep.
And through a quarter and a half, it's been South Tama. And the missteps on the front line and the connection between quarterback and center for Grinnell has really been the story so far.
And that's one of the things that you get when you have that misconnection. You've got a quarterback he's a little bit jumpy he's taking some pretty big shots. So you get a little bit jumpy there, and we have to just take advantage of this. Let's march this baby down the field.
And it's going to be Bridgewater, the carrier, swings it out to the left sideline and gets knocked out of bounds after a gain of 2 or 3 yards, and that'll bring up second down and 8.
Yep.
For South Tama. So plenty of clock to work with here heading into the middle of the second period. South Tama, if nothing else, just looking to get some field position knocked off here. If they have to punt it away, they don't want to do it in their own backyard. They can at least get the ball moved a little bit.
I think they've spotted a little bit of a weakness there.
And there's a tackle in the backfield. Bridgewater got hands put on him before he could even get the ball away.
Maybe 1 yard, if that at all.
And so now receivers Cruikshank and Dolash split off left. We'll see if Bridgewater wants to air it out here. Bridgewater dropping back, pressured, and Bridgewater's going to go down. So a sack in the backfield by the Grinnell defense. That was number 50, Gene Blaylock, and Caden Witham, 2 D linemen. just pushing their way into South Tama territory.
It just seems like they just can't get anything, and that's what happens when you have a small, inexperienced line and you have a quarterback who likes to move. He's quick, and he's going to have to move quickly, but you can't make up for the fact that we got a leaky line right here.
And so it's going to be
pop that thing.
Full Blackford to receive the punt.
Muffed it.
Muffed punt near the 42-yard line. Blackford's going to get knocked back.
There you go.
And a tackle for a loss of a couple yards there after the special teams misstep by Blackford. And that will give Grinnell some yardage to contend with here now. Midway into the second quarter, we're still holding on to a 1-point lead, 7-6. South Tama on a 3-and-out there after the Grinnell defense really went to work against South Tama and stood them up into their own red zone.
This is, where Coach Dorn is licking his chops. He's just going to let them go. And you got Bridgewater on one side, you got Papaki on the other side, and these linemen are probably thinking, what's going to come?
And another bobbled snap near the line of scrimmage. Turnover.
That's ours.
And that was Juan Robles, last week's practice captain. Pancakes it all. You can see they're having a good time over on the sidelines. They're excited for him. Bring the big fella home. Juan Robles on the fumble recovery, and it gives the Trojans another opportunity on offense here. After a 4th-and-out in their own red zone, again, Grinnell shooting. They don't have any feet to shoot off here at this point.
No, they don't. And it's just, I think, one of their coaches needs to get into the stands and see if they can't find somebody who can snap the ball. That's just right now, that's their flaw.
Here's a handoff to Papaki, getting a
get out of there,
running
Rudy.
lane from McBride. Papaki moving his way, moving some Tigers on down for a first down.
Yeah, baby.
Into Grinnell territory. That was Kalyn McBride there on the lead block, and Rudy Papaki just manhandling his way into and around the 42, 43-yard line.
Rudy's cutting up the field. He puts his hand on Kalyn's back and just says, get out of my way and just let me go. That's a nice run. If we could get about 3 more of those and Grinnell just kind of right now is kind of stunned that we're moving the ball so quickly on them.
So kind of the first look of that wing T offense that South Tama likes to run. Here's Papaki, this time up the left guard.
That's another 9.
And Papaki gaming here tonight.
Do you think maybe, Darvin, that they're getting, and you talked to Coach Doran, and this I'd like to ask him if this was the game plan, because it looks like there's a series for Bridgewater, there's a series for Papaki. Maybe when those two get a little bit tired, they'll put in Crookshank or grab somebody else off the bench and put them in there and run them for a couple of yards. But I like the way this offense looks in this series right now.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
Coach Bridgewater's doing a nice job making sure he's spreading the ball around.
2nd and short here.
There's Gavin.
Pitch right
first
back
down
to Bridgewater, and Bridgewater's going to be down near the first down marker. And yeah, you said it. A lot of pop in this formation. Bridgewater not quite enough for a first down there. That'll bring up 3rd and a long 2, or a long 1, maybe you want to call it that way. So
Mr. Umpire didn't do us a favor there.
Make sure to stick around for the Gary Bach State Farm Insurance halftime show. We've got an interview with Tama County Fair Queen Kalyn Murty coming up after the end of the second quarter. Here's Bridgewater sneaking his way through tacklers.
6.
And now the first down coming for South Tama. And so both of these teams kind of finding their defense at times on their heels. And these run games for both teams are working and moving the defenders.
And our line is staying still and being patient. Just get in front of those first up.
Tyrus Clegg in motion, but it's going to be a quarterback keeper. Bridgewater, 2 or 3 tacklers, and he's kind of spun down for a short gain. Not quite 5 yards, maybe 3, a long 2-3 yards there.
Yeah. I got him for 2. But we're not getting a favorable spot from the umpire. Coach Doran needs to walk over there and just tell that lineman.
Just grease it a little bit.
Yeah. Just say, hey, you know what? You're kind of giving us the shaft here, real.
2nd and 8 on the 27-yard line for Bridgewater and company. Clegg and Upa off to the left. An option pitch to Cruikshank.
Come on.
Trying to find the gas pedal.
Nice.
And Cruikshank down for a first down. Nothing that we haven't seen in week 1 and week 2. These are the same hits we've seen on the South Tama Greatest Hits album. This is track 1, 2, 3, and 4, but they've been played well, and we're having some success tonight. Here's a handoff to Cruikshank, but a flag out in the backfield.
I think that Gavin Bridgewater kept that ball, but he saw, that's a false start on South Tama. He saw the false start and tried to stop, and then didn't hear the whistle. Saw the flag, didn't hear the whistle, and decided he was going to get out of there. But, you bring up a good point, Darvin. They don't get donkeys to pull that Budweiser, the Clydesdales. They use the Clydesdales, and that's what they're doing here.
Yep.
And these are big, strong kids. I commented before when I was doing the freshman game that I noticed that Bridgewater, I was going out of the weight room at 7 o'clock in the morning, and he was coming in every morning except that one dead week we had, and went out to Fargo and wrestled. I think that's the only week he missed.
So now 1st and 15 after the penalty. And Bridgewater spinning, avoids one tackle, breaking off to the left. Bridgewater's got some room to run, and that's a first down and more. But
flag because you blocked when you didn't have to.
Another flag will probably bring things back again for the Trojans.
Come on, fellas.
And so that is going to be against South Tama after the nice-looking run by Bridgewater. 4 minutes to go here in the second period. South Tama received to start the first half, so they'll be giving it away to start the third.
Personal foul.
Against South Tama.
Why? You didn't have to do that.
So 1st and a mile now for this Trojans team.
After the play was by, there's no reason, and it's going to give you, a third and... First and
20.
25?
25, yeah.
And on something that didn't have to happen. That's the first mistake South Tama has made, other than the one little jump.
So now Clegg and Dolash, the receivers to the right. Upa split off on the near side. Bridgewater pressure again. Bridgewater scrambling, and he's going to be brought down. And he tosses it up. Loose ball. A flag, and that might be intentional grounding as Bridgewater just kind of heaved it in the air.
Yeah, he flipped it back over his head, and I think they're going to get him for intentional grounding.
And composure. That was the note we heard from Coach Doran in the pregame.
Yeah. Panic.
And things going right can be just as stressful as things going wrong sometimes. As you try and figure out, you got a lot of clock, a lot of game left to work off here. For South Tama, working with a narrow lead, and here this drive has just been a comedy of errors, unfortunately.
That's not a big. That's just a mental mistake. You're trying to get rid of it. If you're going to throw it over your head. Don't throw it over your back.
And now 2nd down and 30. You don't even want to say it. It's 36 yards, and that's a lot of yards.
Yeah.
But it'll be a timeout on the field. South Tama is going to talk it through and a good opportunity to make sure that kind of circle the wagons a little bit and talk things over.
You get your blocking.
We're going to be back right after this. You're listening to Trojan Country. Located in the heart of corn and cattle country, Iowa Premium procures and processes only corn-fed Black Angus cattle that come hand-selected from family farms in Iowa and neighboring states. As Tama County's largest employer, the team at Iowa Premium are an anchor, not only in the beef industry, but throughout eastern and central Iowa. Iowa Premium, a national beef company. Licensed agents Mandy Leakin and Jason Leakin in Tama, Toledo are the one to count on for all your residential, commercial, and farm real estate needs. For most of us, buying a home is one of the largest investments of a lifetime. Choosing the right professional can save you time and make home buying a smooth process. Call 641-751-3021 to find out how the team at Appraisal and Real Estate Services can serve you. Welcome back to STC Trojan Field. We're live here in the high up in the press box. Darvin Graham, George Cuter with you. Out of the timeout. South Tama looking at a 2nd and 36 now. The ball away.
Throw.
Bridgewater in trouble, and they'll be brought down near the 45-yard line to bring up 3rd down. So that was 2nd. South Tama in trouble here as the offense just trying to kind of flip the script a little bit and stop up this Grinnell defense, if anything else.
And that's a big thing. Maybe as part of the play, if you're going to get a pass play, you'll take the sack, because if you're going to have to punt it, you're going to have to kick it. Rudy's averaging about 35 yards a punt, so maybe he'll put him down inside the 10-yard line. We hope. I would like to see a 1st down. That's a long way. Holy smokes.
3rd and 45 is the measure. Bridgewater under pressure again. An errant pass will fall, and that'll be an interception for Grinnell. That was number 2, Tristan Stark. He had success in that first period, and Stark comes away with the interception. Really not much.
No.
The silver lining, you could look at it comparable to a punt, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
And the interception moves Grinnell back into their own territory near the 45, 47-yard line.
And as good as the defense is playing, and as bad as the center is snapping the ball,
you take your. I mean,
to Kaufman,
who knows what can happen?
Yeah, you take it. The last time we thought we were in trouble, and they looked like they were on the verge of a 1st down, and they fumbled. So maybe this is a little bit of the jitters.
Yeah, I don't
thinking. Yeah, they're just not lining up. That's something is just not clicking there. Oh, they got a new center.
Flag.
It's a movement on Grinnell.
And that'll be 52. Looks like Caden Witham maybe now the center.
Yes, they've moved him. They moved him over, and moved their starting center, I believe, over to a guard spot.
So that you don't know what that's going to bring too.
Yeah.
You know, you moving. That's a
mid-game
skilled position to be flipping things around.
The mid-game move
after the penalty.
Oh, get out!
And a tackle in the backfield, another misstep by the Grinnell offense. And we're seeing it on both ends here. We saw South Tama penalize themselves into oblivion on that last drive, looking at a 45 and 3rd and 45. And now here's Grinnell after 2 bobbled snaps. They're looking at a 2nd and 22.
No one has moved forward in these last 4 plays. With the interception, Kaufman running
looking
for
at
his
pressure.
life.
He's going to be brought down by Bridgewater.
Yeah.
And that was also Jacob Youngbear and a couple other Trojans in on the tackle.
A little lively action next door. I'm glad I'm not over there. Holy smokes.
Yeah, we just heard the building rock from a coach up in the press box. Glad we're contained here. Timeout on the field called. South Tama leading 7-6 here in the 2nd period.
Coach Doran is just telling his guys right now. I guarantee he's just saying they're shooting themselves in the foot. Let them.
Yeah.
Don't put too much pressure on them. They're jumping. They've had a penalty. They've had 2 losses. They've changed centers. And he is just firing them up. You can see his demeanor. He's just screaming and yelling
because he can smell it. There's a long way to go here, but anybody watching this game knows this is anybody's game tonight.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're going to see in the second half.
No, and this is the thing that the Grinnell coaches were worried about. You're coming from a trophy game. You're coming off 2 losses, big losses to tough teams. You're a young team. You're a new coaching staff. You don't know what they're going to do, and it's kind of showed.
So here's Stark now in the backfield. He's probably had the most success out of any of these Grinnell running backs. And 3rd and 22. Kaufman is going to get wrapped up again. Another sack for South Tama, and that was Kalyn McBride. He's had 2 tonight.
That's 4 in a row that he's had to wait for a receiver.
Right.
And we've just had a field day back there. And it's nice. I mean, they're like incomplete passes. I like to see it from Grinnell.
Exactly.
course, all those years watching Eli Dunn beat the
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Some
the
retribution
superlative
here.
out of us. Yeah,
exactly.
To see a quarterback go down like this for Grinnell is kind of good. I don't want to be a homer, but I want to beat Grinnell. I want that trophy in our trophy case.
So the punt coming with 1:06 on the clock for South Tama, as they're going to have 2 receivers deep.
Just get out of there.
And
Get away from the ball.
The ball will bounce high, and it'll be brought together by the Grinnell special teams unit down just beyond near the 45-yard line.
55 seconds to go.
So Grinnell, reminder,
go for it.
Grinnell's going to get it back in the third, but an opportunity here for South Tama with short yardage situation, or with short time on the clock here.
It'd be fun to open it up here and just see what happens. With 55 seconds, you can run the ball, and you really don't have to stop the clock. See if you can break something.
We haven't seen a deep pass yet in this contest. Yet South Tama started the Sadell game with a heave down the field and a catch by Rudy Papaki. But it's going to be a run. Gavin Bridgewater getting blockers. There's Cyrus Mathis putting the heat to somebody. And Bridgewater scoots near the 50-yard line. A nice gain there.
Out of bounds.
A conservative run, but still.
Take it.
Not much time off the clock. 47 seconds now on the clock as second down. And heads-up play there by Bridgewater finding the out-of-bounds line. So 2nd and 8 is the mark for the South Tama offense. Cruikshank in motion.
He was across the line.
The pitch to Papaki, and Papaki is met near the line of scrimmage. Tackle for a short loss on second down, and that'll bring up 3rd and 11.
If they let it get that far. No, they're not gonna run another play. I don't think.
So the clock running here. Coach Bridgewater on the sideline talking to his boy Gavin, quarterback, trying to figure out if they're going to maybe give her a go here, but
that's 5 seconds called. You're going to call a timeout. You take the delay. No, just get out of here.
And that so timeout, South Tama with 6 seconds on the clock. We've got a timeout on the field. The Trojans and the Tigers going to think about it here, and we might have one more play. A dangerous situation here for South Tama, but we're in a close game, and every little bit counts. So you can't blame anybody for trying to get the most out of this opportunity here. Make sure to stick around. We're just moments away from the Gary Bach State Farm Insurance halftime show. I'm going to be joined in the booth by Tama County Fair Queen Kalyn Murty, and we're going to have a special feature later on about Steve Kriegel and hear a little bit about his story and what the namesake for this trophy game has meant to both communities in South Tama and Grinnell. So stick around for that. All kinds of fun stuff coming up at the half. And here we go, out of the timeout.
We have royalty in the booth.
Yeah. And here we go, 3rd and 11 on the 43, and it's going to be down.
Yep,
so
we're good.
Off to the locker rooms we go. South Tama leading 7-6, maintaining a razor-thin margin. And we go to the halftime. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Tama County Fair Queen Kalyn Murty after this. You're listening to Trojan Country.
Located in the heart of corn and cattle country, Iowa Premium procures and processes only corn-fed Black Angus cattle that come hand-selected from family farms in Iowa and neighboring states. As Tama County's largest employer, the team at Iowa Premium are an anchor, not only in the beef industry, but throughout eastern and central Iowa. Iowa Premium, a national beef company. ...2022 marks the 95th year in business for the State Bank of Toledo since opening in 1927. The State Bank of Toledo is Trojan Country's hometown bank, supporting its customers with loyal, friendly, and fair customer service. With 2 convenient locations, a full-service investment center, 24-hour ATM service, and online banking, you can't go wrong making State Bank of Toledo your financial services choice. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, all right. I think we're cutting back into the action here. We are not at halftime yet. I thought that down play was going to send us to halftime, but South Tama is going to run the ball here, and that's going to close out the quarter. Pardon me as we're just cutting back into the action. I wasn't quite sure what was happening there, but we've got a run to Rudy Papaki, and Papaki kind of stopped up after a gain of a couple, and now the team's heading to the halftime locker room. So South Tama leading 7-6, and we're at halftime here at Trojan Field. So right now I'm joined by Tama County Fair Queen, Kalyn Murty. Today I'm joined, like I said, by Kalyn Murty. Kalyn is your junior?
Yep.
You're a junior at South Tama County High School. This summer competed in the County Fair and State Fair Queen contests. Thanks for coming up and chatting with us here. Glad to have you here. All right, so tell me a little bit about how did that Fair Queen process start for you? How did you come to the decision to apply to run and compete for the Fair Queen this year? And how did it all kind of unfold once you put your name in the hat?
So basically, I've always been around the county fair. I've showed cattle my whole life. I've always looked up to those girls who've ran for the Fair Queen. It's always been a thought in the back of my mind, and this year I was elected the chapter president of my FFA chapter, and I'm also my 4-H president and a part of the Mid-Iowa Youth Beef Team. So I thought, well, this year would be a good year to get out there and try and make a run for it. And so I made the decision to run, and we had an interview process, and after that I went to the county fair and got elected. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So you've been a lifelong fair goer, you and your family. Talk to me a little bit about that. What are some of your maybe favorite memories? Are there certain exhibits or shows that you guys always participate in or that you participate in? What's kind of the highlights for you when you guys go to county fair?
So like I said, I've been showing cattle since I was 9 years old at the county fair. My mom and grandpa did it before me as well. So it's always been in the family, but this year was a special year, being queen, obviously, but then I had a good year showing cattle, so that was fun. I had reserve champion market animal.
Oh, wow.
And then I also tried out showing sheep this year.
Oh, my goodness.
So that was fun.
So what was that experience like? You've got all the preparation and the Fair Queen contest, and you've got duties to attend to. You're busy that whole week long. What was that like? Showing, doing photos, helping out with all the other shows. What was that week like for you, being so busy?
It was a very, very busy week. I had my family there with me the whole week, my family and friends. So anytime I needed help, they were always there to help me out, doing chores or whatever I needed. It was attending the shows. That was the busiest part. That was a lot, but it was all worth it. It was a blast.
That's awesome. Talk a little bit about the contest night. You know, it's a lot of build up, a lot of pageantry, and it's supposed to be a lot of fun that way, you know. And what went through your head? You hear your name called, and you have that moment where, okay, I'm the Fair Queen for the next year. How did that feel?
Yeah, so I was very nervous at first, but then I was like, you know what? The judging is already over because we did the judging 2 nights before that. So I was like, it'll play out how it plays out. And sitting there, I was okay. I did my speech in front of everyone, and I was fine. And then once they were getting ready to announce it, I was starting to freak out. I was like, oh, gosh, the moment's almost here.
Of course.
And then once they said my name, I looked up to my family, and I seen them cheering and clapping, and it was just such a heartfelt moment. It was a blast.
That's great. And then so you move on to the state fair a couple weeks later. What was that experience like? You're with 99, I don't know if it's 99 or 100 or 99 other girls competing for the state fair queen. Talk me through that day and that whole experience. What was that like?
Yeah, so the past queens before me told me that they had a blast at the state fair. They loved it. So I was really excited to see how it went. I got there, we checked in, and the girls there, I was kind of scared they were going to be, like, super intense, like, scary older girls, because I knew only being 16, it was going to be a little hard. But it was so much fun. The girls there were all super nice, and there was a bunch of new, neat experiences. Getting to volunteer at the fairgrounds, getting to do this like modeling show at the fairgrounds. It was all so much fun. I wouldn't take it back for anything.
Yeah,
it was a lot of
absolutely.
fun.
So now you come back to school. So you've got these kind of chained events going from mid-July county fair, a couple weeks you're into the state fair, and then, oh boy, it's time for back to school, and you're into that whole rhythm of things. How has the first few weeks of school been? What's it been like coming back to school as the Tama County Fair? Do your classmates know about it? How did that whole kind of coming back into the school atmosphere go for you?
Yeah, so I'm close with a lot of my classmates, so they all already knew about it, seeing it on social media and things like that. So at first, it's like, oh my gosh, it's the Fair Queen, and that kind of goes on. But they don't react super different. But like,
that's good.
When I get opportunities to like do dress up things, I'll wear my crown and like dress up as a Fair Queen.
There
so
you
I'm
go.
still representing during the off season. But yeah, school's been going good so far.
And do you have duties that you've got to events or different things that you do as the Fair Queen throughout the year? I know there's all kinds of different ag associations and groups that are here in Tama County and very busy. Are you going to be part of those things throughout the year?
Yes. So after the state fair, I had the Double D rodeo. I was there helping with pony rides for that. And then next Monday, or this coming Monday, I'll be at the sale barn for the
excellent.
barbecue appreciation dinner.
Oh, great.
I'll be there for that with my crown on. And then it's just little things after that, like little ag events that I'll go to and wear my crown and sash to represent.
Yeah. So I want to back up a little bit, talk a little bit about your background. Can you tell me just about your family, who your parents are, if you have any siblings, and yeah, just tell me a little bit about that.
So I'm a part of a family of 5. My mom are Tim and Ashley Murty. I have a younger brother, Kyle, and a younger sister, Carrie. I live out on a farm south of Tama.
Grew up in South Tama. You
Yep.
went to South Tama your whole career.
And
That's great.
my mom and dad both graduated from here.
Awesome. So,
Yeah, and I'm in FFA, Mid-Iowa Youth Beef Team, 4-H County Council. I have a passion for agriculture.
excellent.
Yep.
And I know, a lot of time, shrinking time as you're getting closer to graduation here, but, kids, when they're getting into freshman and sophomore year, thinking about what's happening after after high school, what are some thoughts for you as you think about what could come next? Is it going to be featuring ag as a career possibly?
So my plan so far is to go to Iowa State and major in animal science and then have an emphasis in animal reproduction. And so career-wise, I'm looking into doing all sorts of things with animal reproduction. So that's that's my plan so far.
So speaking to other kids and families that are considering getting involved in 4-H, and 4-H not the only group that's out there in our community, what would you say is maybe some of the best things about the groups that you're participating in, and do you recommend that experience for new kids and families as they're thinking about, well, what do I get involved in, or what's going to be my thing as I'm getting older?
So I for sure recommend joining 4-H and FFA and getting out and do those kinds of things. I've met so many friends along the way, and that has definitely been the best part of it, making those lifelong friends that you never knew before. The experience at County Fair, what it all leads up to, that's my favorite week of the summer. I love it. I love getting to see all my friends that I only get to see once a year. And it just opens up so many more opportunities. It's made me a better leader, a more confident person. It's definitely for sure helped me out for the best.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations to you this summer, and have a great year as the 2022-2023 Tama County Fair Queen. We've been talking to Kalyn Murty today here on the Gary Bach State Farm Insurance Halftime Show. Thanks a lot, Kalyn.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be back after this.
Licensed agents Mandy Leakin and Jason Leakin in Tama, Toledo are the one to count on for all your residential, commercial, and farm real estate needs. For most of us, buying a home is one of the largest investments of a lifetime. Choosing the right professional can save you time and make home buying a smooth process. Call 641-751-3021 to find out how the team at Appraisal and Real Estate Services can serve you.
This show's pretty rockin', huh?
Yeah, I'm so glad my State Farm agent helped me go.
Huh?
My State Farm agent. They help me with options to personalize my auto insurance to get a great rate that fits my budget, so I don't have to give up the things I love.
Wow. Hey, So, do you think I could get your State Farm agent's number?
Call State Farm agent Gary Bach in Toledo at 641-484-3163.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
You're listening to the Gary Bach State Farm Insurance Halftime Show. We're live from STC Trojan Field. Darvin Graham and George Cuter with you on the call for tonight's rivalry game. It's the Steve Kriegel Memorial Trophy game for these two teams, and an exciting night of football as we've got a close one here. South Tama leading 7-6 against Grinnell on rivalry night. Tonight's halftime show brought to you by Gary Bach, State Farm agent in Tama, Toledo. Make sure to stop down to Gary Bach for a free quote today. All kinds of great products, including life insurance, home and auto, farm and ranch, and small business. And when you stop down over to Gary Bach, make sure to mention Trojan Country when you get your free quote. You're going to get a free gift when you say you heard this ad on Trojan Country. And as a customer myself of State Farm and of Gary Bach, I can say cannot come highly recommended enough from me and my family, as there are insurers. They've when Gary came into the community a couple years ago or a year or so ago, we took a chance on switching our insurance over, looking to save some dollars, and it has been nothing but professional, courteous customer service and great savings for myself and my family. So I cannot say enough about Gary Bach, State Farm agent, and the team over there in Toledo, just across from the Toledo Firehouse on South County Road. So make sure to stop down for a free quote and a free gift today. All right, right after this, we're going to head into a special feature talking about Steve Kriegel, the namesake for the Steve Kriegel Memorial Trophy game, right after this.
You've changed thousands of diapers, cut off hundreds of bread crusts, played hours of peekaboo and duck duck goose, because you'd do anything for your kids. That's why it's so important to protect them with life insurance from State Farm. State Farm agent Gary Bach makes it easy and affordable to help protect your family, no matter what the future holds. Because for the people you'd do anything for, life insurance could mean everything. Call State Farm agent Gary Bach in Toledo today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back into Trojan Country, live from the STC Trojan Field. I'm Darvin Graham. We've got about 2 minutes to go here before the start of the third period. But before we get any further, we're going to talk about Steve Kriegel, the namesake for the Steve Kriegel Memorial Trophy game. And so Steve Kriegel, the Steve Kriegel Memorial Trophy game this year marks the 25th playing of the game for the helmets between South Tama County and Grinnell. The rivalry game's namesake was Steve Kriegel, a standout athlete and coach that grew up in Tama, Toledo, and later made a Hall of Fame coaching career down the road in Grinnell. He was the son of Jack and Lois Tim Kriegel. Steve was born January 22nd, 1952 in Tama, where he was raised and educated. He was a 1970 graduate of South Tama County High School, where he competed in football, basketball, tennis, and baseball. He was an all-conference selection in tennis and an all-state selection in football, basketball, and baseball. Kriegel earned a bachelor's degree later from Central College and won 8 letters competing in football, basketball, and baseball for the Central Dutch. He was all-conference in football and baseball and was the baseball team's most valuable player for Central College in 1974. As an adult, he later received his master's degree in education administration from Northeast Missouri State University, and Kriegel was then later married to Susan Wood on August 2, 1980 in Grinnell. The couple later were the parents of 3 children. A head football coach for 14 years at Grinnell High School, Mr. Kriegel set a school record with his 89-51 record while winning 3 South Central Conference football championships in 1985, 1990, and 1991. Kriegel was honored several times by his selection as Coach of the Year and was elected to the Iowa Football Coaches Hall of Fame. He also served as an assistant football coach at Grinnell College for 5 years, during which the Pioneers recorded their most successful seasons in many decades. Mr. Kriegel had 200 wins as a basketball coach. His 1986 and 1991 Grinnell teams were state tournament participants. He also took teams to the state tournament in tennis and baseball. Steve Kriegel died on November 21, 1997 at the age of 45 due to pancreatic cancer. The Steve Kriegel Memorial Trophy game has been played each year since between South Tama and Grinnell in Steve's honor. The winning team each year takes home a ceremonial trophy featuring football helmets from South Tama and Grinnell, representing Steve's impact and belonging to the 2 communities. Over the past 24 years, Grinnell holds 17 wins over South Tama during the Steve Kriegel Memorial Trophy Game Series, and South Tama, meanwhile, has won 7 times, most recently in 2018. So that's a little bit about the Steve Kriegel Memorial Trophy Game, where that's come from. Some clippings from the Tama News Herald here on the screen you can see. And the photo in the middle there from 1969. Kriegel and a whole host of Trojans, part of some very successful South Tama teams early on in the school's history. So you're listening to the Gary Bach State Farm Insurance halftime show, 7-6, South Tama up. We got about 3 minutes to go before we get the third quarter underway. We'll be right back after this.
Mercy Care Tama is a proud supporter of South Tama County High School sports. The dedicated staff at Mercy Care Tama offer you and your family the highest quality professional care enhanced by the Mercy Touch. Trojan Country fans, come on down to The Pump, Tama Toledo's #1 bar and grill. Located in downtown Tama at 218 West 3rd Street, The Pump serves up cold drinks, a warm atmosphere, and an amazing lunch on the regular. Check out the Tama Pump on Facebook for regular lunch and drink specials, as well as details on their latest events.
So what are we watching tonight? Cat videos or DIY tutorials?
Neither. Tonight we are premium streaming.
How?
My State Farm agent helped me save money on my auto insurance with safe driving discounts, so I don't have to give up the things I love.
Oh, now we can watch the new season of Iris the Internet Cat.
Cue it up.
For surprisingly great rates, visit Gary Bach State Farm in Toledo for a free quote today.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
We're back to Trojan Country live from STC Trojan Field. I'm going to throw it to my partner, George Cuter, over here in the booth. George, talk to us a little bit about how this first half looked.
The first half looked really, as bad as we made it sound with Grinnell, they just had a little bit of, there was just a little bit of something that was wrong between center and quarterback, and that constitutes having, something isn't right, so they had to make a little bit of switch. They switched out their center, and it seems to be going a little bit better. But one of the things that I just look at with the whole thing is wondering when they're going to start to click. So it's kind of like one of those, when's Grinnell's going to start to click? But South Tama is moving the ball. Other than that last series, which I think maybe Gavin Bridgewater might be a little banged up. I'm not sure. After his first couple of series, we ran the ball really, really well. And as we get ready for kickoff, I think if South Tama comes out and plays the way they did on defense in the first and second defensive series that they played, that they can come out with a big victory here. But what you're gonna have to do is we're gonna immediately just have to play smash mouth football and stop Grinnell in their tracks on this first drive.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been these kind of choke points in the Grinnell game that have really cut off their ability to get anything done when they're turning the ball over. But we've seen other times when they're able to, especially in the running game, when they're able to get cut off 10, 12 yards at a chunk, they're able to do that pretty easily. And so they're very dangerous right now. They've just been just self-detrimental.
Right, and they've just kind of blown up on themselves.
A short kick by Eddie Garcia is going to bounce near the 38-yard line, and it'll get down finally by the Grinnell Special Teams return unit. And so here we are underway in the third quarter.
That was about a 15-yard kick, and that was probably a smart move, just to kind of you don't want to have to come out and defend the whole field like that. Just kick it up. The kid's probably a little bit surprised. He didn't know it was coming his way, so he just caught the ball and fell down. And this is going to be huge. We got to see what South Tama has and how they have to come. They're going to have to come out on this and just dominate defensively. And there it is again.
Here's a handoff for Grinnell right up the middle, and it'll be good enough for about 5 yards. That was Kinnick Johnson, the ball carrier there. And we've seen kind of a rotating cast of Grinnell Tigers in the backfield. And Tristan Stark, maybe the senior there, getting the most success, but they really are not sticking with one feature back. It's kind of been a little bit of everybody.
2 or 3-headed monster just for fun, just to see what they can come up with.
So now 2nd and 5 on the 46, opening minute of play of the third quarter. If you're just tuning in, Johnson getting the ball again. It looks to be his series. And Johnson knocked down near the line of scrimmage. Tackled maybe for a loss there. Gavin Bridgewater, one of the outside linebackers for South Tama, coming up and getting the tackle. 3rd and 6 now for South Tama. For Grinnell on offense, on their own 45-yard line.
And as long as this keeps, this exchange has to go for them to be, there it is again, successful. And
Johnson, this time Kaufman connects with
6 yards.
Braden Johnson, and he's down for a first down. Cyrus Mathis, the linebacker, in on the tackle for South Tama. And that'll bring up 1st and 10.
Yeah, what they're trying to do now, Grinnell, there is with this series, what they're trying to do is they're trying to spread this field out a little bit to maybe get South Tama back on their heels to see what's going on. We got a Trojan coming in, and they're going to move him out of there. Yep. Good.
And that's maybe Jacob Youngbear getting tended to. Yep. Ryan McBride's going to move in and shift the linebackers around. So now Kaufman in the shotgun, 1st and 10 on the 47-yard line. Kaufman, quarterback keeper up the middle, moving through traffic. Brady Kaufman in for a first down near the sidelines, keeps going, and Brady Kaufman will be finally knocked out of bounds near the 25, but that's a big run there, and they've had that available.
Holding.
Oh, and we've got a flag out.
Coming back, +10.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that you don't normally see. You know, you talk about Jack Kriegel, you talk about Jim Dunn, you talk about the past. Since in the past few years, you didn't see this from a Grinnell team where they get a big, huge play and they shoot themselves in the foot. So now instead of being 1st and 10 on the Trojans 30, they're 1st and 20.
Gosh, how many times have we seen this in the last quarter and a half?
Right, and they
1st and 19 on the 43-yard line.
Yeah.
We got 10-19 on the clock, third quarter.
Keep going backwards like this. And this is the thing that sometimes when you're young, you can't get out of your head.
Another flag.
And there's another flag. That's a false start.
And it was Damian Castellanos in pressuring the quarterback. The flag came out before Castellanos even got to Kaufman, but you can see the frustration on these Grinnell players' faces here in the body language as they're moving backwards. And when they're seeing their quarterback just steamrolling through a running lane and taking off for 15 yards, and then this kind of these kind of setbacks, it's got to be mentally draining for these kids.
Especially for the linemen. The linemen are getting frustrated because they're so much bigger than South Tama is, but South Tama is filling holes.
Right.
You got Rudy coming up, and he's coming up in a hole. You've got Bridgewater coming up,
And
Gavin's
the biggest
getting a
body on the
hole.
field, Juan Robles, right there as the nose tackle.
And you just can't move him.
No.
So you can't really. Yep, there it goes again. Nope.
And this time maybe against South Tama.
Yeah, this one's going to go back.
As I called his number there, I think that might have been Robles on the.
I think he heard you
on the early start.
He wanted to make a good play, but that's the kind of thing is you're moving, and I think dead ball.
The official's conferring.
Yep,
and it'll go against South Tama.
And that's one of those that could either gone either way. And he just kind of Juan is so big,
right?
And he's a big, strong kid. When he gets moving, you really can't stop him from getting across. You know, he jumped across the line. But that's what they're doing is they're anticipating this snap. And I think that's what's getting the center all goofy.
Kaufman gets a block from Kinnick Johnson, and Kaufman moving the not the sticks, but moving some Trojans, and he's got positive yards. But the penalties move the first down way out of contention here. Kyan McBride coming up a little gimpy.
He got kind of rolled over with his foot, so we just have to get that little crampy out of there and move on with their day. And here comes Grinnell.
Young Bear comes back into the game.
They're going to start trying to move the ball quickly.
2nd and 12 on the 49-yard line. Another bobble snap
down.
ball on the ground.
He's down. He's down.
And that will be. Yep, the whistle comes in. The official the official races in, and that'll be down in the backfield after the snap is errant. Once again, just under 10 minutes on the clock in the third period.
If there's a little break in the action, folks, it's me running down there because I'm going to throw the flag. No, he was clearly, he got the ball and he bobbled it, popped up in the air. He got down on one knee to try and catch it like a second baseman and
not realizing my knee's down.
Yeah, he's down.
All right, that'll bring up 3rd and 18 now on the 44 after the down in the backfield, the handoff to Johnson, and he's got nowhere to go.
And this is the kind of defense that we need to play.
That was Diego Victor on the stop for South Tama. And now the punt unit coming on as it's 4th down and close to 20. So South Tama, not a better opportunity you could ask for here.
And they truly, honestly, Grinnell is just that inability to get the ball moving after that penalty is kind of a saving grace for the Trojans. With Grinnell. Fair catch.
And the fair catch called by Bridgewater, but he falls on it, and it'll be Bridgewater still on his feet. A flag is out, so I don't
know that he can do that.
I don't think he can do that either. So that might be a penalty against a illegal maneuver against the return team.
He put his hand up in the air to fair catch it, and
it bounced on the ground. He thought, maybe since it bounced, he can take off, but I believe the officials are going to call that against South Tama.
That would be.
So we're waiting for the referees still talking things over here.
Kind of discussing.
But either way, South Tama will take over after the 4 and out.
And it'll be first down. Yep.
And so the Trojans now march back into their own red zone. They'll start.
That's one of those, you get scared.
Right.
That's one of those where it bounces off your chest and hits the ground, and you're thinking to yourself, what do I do? Because it looked like he was going to, when he bobbled that ball, it looked like he was going to fall on it.
Right.
And I think the coaches are arguing when we waved his hand that he catches the ball's got to stay there.
Right. So now South Tama 1st and 10 on their own 13-yard line. And officials still making their way back onto the field here. I think everybody just needs a moment to kind of put themselves back in the action. Bridgewater under center. No, it's Dolash into the game right now. So Jeremy Dolash, a pitch back to Papaki. And we saw that late in the Sadell game. That kind of, it's not a wildcat, but it's sort of just a direct funnel, just using Dolash as kind of a catapult for the ball to just get it into the backfield.
Well, this is, and that was movement on us.
Another flag out. So we've got Papaki, Bridgewater, and I think Mathis lined up in the eye.
Mathis or Crookshank.
Yeah.
It's a stack eye. And back in the day, if anybody remembers this, they used to run this with West Hand and Rutledge and Brandon Rutledge and those guys, and Randy Van Dyke put it in. And this is just a good way to put people away, because you've got 4 options right now with the football to hand it off to and run.
So a pitch off to Bridgewater. Bridgewater gets a block from Papaki. A nice-looking block there. That was Damian Castellanos on the block, I'm sorry. But Bridgewater brought down near the 15-yard line.
And whoever that was for Grinnell, he gets a game ball, because if he would not have tackled Bridgewater, he was gone.
He was gone.
He was going to move, and he starts moving his legs.
3rd and 8 now. The yardage for South Tama. 3rd and 8 on the 15 with 7 1/4 left on the clock in the third period. We've seen some long drives here that have kind of ended in punting scenarios. A handoff now to Bridgewater. Bridgewater is going to be stuffed in the backfield.
Yep.
Bringing up 3rd down.
Now, 3rd down, and you're going to run this. You lost 2 yards. So here's what you do. Your second back is the option, and Bridgewater's the decoy. Here he comes limping off the field again. Kind of a...
And we saw that against West Marshall. Didn't make it through that whole game. And he's been busy athletically kind of this whole year.
Right.
He really hasn't had much of a break.
He hasn't had a break. He played baseball. He wrestled all summer. He jumped into football. He ran track. It's one of those that starts to wear on you.
So now Rudy Papaki to punt away. Kind of a line drive punt will be received by Penich near the 45-yard line.
Tackle him.
And he'll be finally hauled to the ground near the 25. But the punt return unit for South Tama kind of letting the Grinnell team through the sieve a little bit.
Yeah,
so,
that was a nice return for.
And so that'll set up Grinnell into South Tama territory. 1st and 10 on the 24-yard line. We've got 6 minutes and 18 seconds here on the clock in the third quarter.
And we have Kalyn McBride sitting with the trainer. He's kind of looking a little bit.
Not like he's about ready to head back into the game.
Another
bobbled snap. Kaufman gathers, and he's going to be off and running. And Kaufman kind of saves his own skin that time. And
he turned that into from a 9-yard loss into a 6-yard gain.
Right.
Just for the plain and simple fact that he was running for his life.
Right. And now 2nd and 2 on the 16-yard line.
Just got to keep him out of the end zone. And you're missing, I don't know if Bridgewater is back in there. Yeah, he is. I was going to say, you're going to need Kalyn McBride to put his helmet back on and move on with his day. See what we can do. And we don't have an athletic trainer anymore. Dr. Fritz is down there. And
so here's Kaufman in the shotgun. It'll be a handoff to Kinnick Johnson. Johnson trying to make his way past blockers, but he's going to be down, but it'll be good enough for a first down.
That's a nice 10-yard run. You look at the stat sheet. Grinnell is not really impressive when it comes to that, but we got too many men on the field.
And that'll bring up 2nd and goal. No, 2nd and goal on the 3.
They got their workhorse.
Yep.
Just like we do.
Johnson making his way into traffic, close to the goal line, into the pile. We're not sure yet. No indication, and it's going to be short, I think.
Just 1 yard.
But right there.
And he's working hard. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yards. Or, 10 carries for 24 yards. So he's only averaging about 2.5 yards a carry. But he's working hard. He's got it.
3rd and goal on the 1. Now 4.5 minutes on the clock as time kind of draining away off this third quarter. Kaufman, low snap, quarterback keeper, trying to get into the end zone. It'll be it. Yep, he's got a touchdown. Grinnell strikes first in the second half. 12-7 as Grinnell finally takes their first lead after a tumultuous first half. All kinds of turnovers and missteps in their offense, and they make it into the end zone finally in the third. And that'll bring on kicker Christopher McCartney. Maybe, or they might try and recover that block PAT and go for 2 here. And yep, we're going to see an extra.
They're going to put this up.
2-point conversion opportunity here.
South Tama's going to have to score. Just get on him.
Kaufman
Get on him,
rolling
Rudy.
left. Papaki in pursuit, but it's going to be a pass to Carson Penich, and it'll be a 2-point conversion. And so the Tigers get back the blocked PAT from the first quarter, from the pitch and catch from Kaufman to Penich. And that'll make the score 13-7 with 4:18 on the clock here in the third quarter.
Yep. You can kind of see that one coming. So we need to just figure this out real quick because we're not out of this game. Trojans are not out of this game yet.
Oh, absolutely.
So they got a lot of time to go. We can't let Grinnell get in a groove because they can get in the groove and this can start coming in droves. They can start scoring and you know, your defense is going to be a little bit worn down right now. So one of the big things we have to concentrate on as Trojans is Coach Doran's going to tell the guys we're going to have to start playing with heart.
So Papaki and Cruikshank, the 2 returners for the Trojans. Kick goes right down the middle. Cruikshank.
Oops, Cruikshank, sorry.
And he's speeding up the right side, and he'll be brought down just short of the 40-yard line. But, man, he had a head of steam built up there.
And I don't know if anybody, if you've seen him, but he is just a little fireball. He got a head of hair on him like nobody believes, and if he is moving, he's moving. I'm surprised he wasn't out. He's a soccer player.
Right.
So, you know, it surprises me that wasn't out for track and when I saw him playing soccer, he's like a little water bug out there and just everywhere. So he's got the wheels. All they need to do is just kind of use him to their advantage. Here he is at tailback. Come on, Ethan.
And it'll be a pitch back to Cruikshank. Dolash in under center for South Tama. And Cruikshank making his way to a first down. He made his own way that time.
Yes,
that was just weaving and dodging through traffic is Ethan Cruikshank. And just when you've got your starting quarterback banged up, Jeremy Dolash has seen activity in each of these first 2 weeks. He's back in under center here again. And they've maybe figured out a way to kind of spell Bridgewater if he needs to be and keep the offense moving with an inexperienced underclassman working here for Dolash.
Standing on the sidelines with his thumb wrapped and just carrying his helmet.
Here's Cruikshank now to the left, and he'll get wrapped up by a pair of Tigers. That's Gene Blaylock on the tackle, among others. Short gain by Cruikshank.
About 2 yards, get a full set of steam. You got to get your 2 fullbacks, your 1 back and your 2 back up. Quarterback gets the ball to Cruikshank. You got to have somebody blocking for him because he's one of those runners that if he can squirt through a hole, they're going to have a hard time tackling him.
2nd and 8 on the 49-yard line as we've got an official's timeout here.
Bridgewater's back in the game.
And we've got 3 minutes and 38 seconds now on the clock for South Tama as they're driving here mid-game. I think we've got Wyatt Sermon in for in the center position now. So South Tama rotating in a new center as Miguel Medina was the starter. And a short run on 2nd down. That was Damian Castellanos getting the handoff. And a little commotion at the line of scrimmage will get broken up by the officials.
Rudy just needs to keep his head on. It's just, you can't come up. Oh, sorry, it's not Rudy. That just came out of the game. That's
Castellanos.
Is it Castellanos?
Yep.
Yeah, he got it.
3rd and 7 now for the Trojans, and back in the power I on the 50-yard line. Pitch back to Bridgewater. Bridgewater looking for a place to run, and he's brought down just beyond the line of scrimmage, setting up 4th down. As South Tama unable to convert on 3rd as the body's kind of breaking down a little bit here in the second half. And, you know, we've seen Coach Bridgewater and the offense rotating backs as much as they can, but when you've got 3 backs in the backfield, you're still putting miles on the tires of a lot of these kids, even though they might not be the featured back in that particular situation. So the deeper roster may be factoring in here. Here's a low punt snap for Papaki.
It's a nice kick, though.
A little rugby punt, and it'll
on the ground.
roll its way down near the goal line. Will it be?
On the 2.
Oh, my goodness. The punt return to, or the punt coverage team, that was...
Wow.
That was
nice.
Daryl Hill and Miguel Medina sprinting down to cover that one up. And precarious territory now for...
Bounced for about a 51-yarder, and it hit the ground. I don't know what the Grinnell returner was doing because it was behind him, and he just kind of watched as South Tama guys. Daryl Hill ran right past him and down the ball on like the 3-yard line.
I think he might have thought it was going to go out of bounds.
Yeah.
With the kind of speed it was traveling,
right.
but kudos to Papaki for kind of lacing it in there, and we've got the officials now. I don't know. They're looking for a ball. They're looking to the sidelines. Maybe I see Laker Pesca with a ball.
Looking into the stands. There's something somebody is.
And we're ready to go now.
One of the fans. Who knows?
So 1st and 10.
Boy, it'd be nice.
For the Grinnell Tigers. It's going to be a quarterback keep up the middle. Kaufman gobbled up after a short gain. Backed up and in their own end zone. Minute 46 on the clock, 3rd quarter. As South Tama's defense trying to make a heroic stop here in 3rd down and get back on offense.
Be nice to back him up and get a safety and get the ball and then score. I'd be surprised.
2nd and 7 now. And another handoff.
I do not see
Short
the logic
gain.
in this right now.
That's again Kinnick Johnson, the ball carrier for for Grinnell. As we get to the 1-minute mark in the 3rd quarter.
They're going to turn it 3rd and 9, deep in their own territory. I would really be surprised if they didn't come out here and try and come on this wide side where they have room.
Set up on the 4-yard line in their own territory. Grinnell and Kaufman.
Pass.
The quarterback looking deep.
He's got
Penich down the line, and Carson Penich is going to be off to the races.
You're not going to catch him. He's gone.
He is gone as the final defender falls away for South Tama. And that's about a 96-yard completion. A dagger right into the heart of the South Tama defense. And so the Grinnell Tigers kind of finding themselves here midway into this second half as South Tama looking for answers. And now a PAT coming up for, well, maybe not. We haven't seen yet. We've got just 33 seconds left on the 3rd quarter clock as Grinnell will go for it for a 2-point conversion here. They got it last time. Handoff is to Kinnick Johnson.
Nope.
They'll be dropped short of the goal. And that was Jacob Youngbear, I think, on the stop there for the Trojans. And that'll bring up a kickoff for Grinnell with 33 seconds on the clock. South Tama needing to respond here as the time kind of trickling off.
Away.
Yeah.
33 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, so we've got to make something happen here, and we're going to have to score twice in the next 15 minutes and 33 and a half seconds. And that just kind of, that you could see it coming.
Right.
It's just one of those, you could see things coming down the road, but, it looked like when Kaufman heaved that ball, the Pinich was not going to call, but he just ran right underneath it. So that's, that's one of those timing things between teammates that they probably worked on all summer. And that's, they're going to work on that before practice even starts. And just good. But it was a really nicely thrown ball and gave him enough room. And even Tyrus Clegg, he's fast. He's hopefully one of those guys Coach Mayo
probably
gets
about
out for
6
track.
inches shorter
exactly.
than the receiver he was trying to cover.
Exactly.
And it just Penich was just able to leg it out.
And they see that and they pick on that. Good coaches will see that pretty obviously, and they won't try it every time. Holy smokes.
Kickoff to Crookshank. Crookshank still on his feet up to the 40-yard line. The return team has been, I would say, an above-average night for this return team as South Tama has been cutting off, 25, 30-yard returns on average and a couple long ones in the first half. So Crookshank staying busy on the return unit. 25 seconds on the clock left in the third quarter, and we've got 1st and 10 for South Tama on the 38, their own 38-yard line.
Dolash is still in at quarterback. So they're going to come up with something. I don't know who the center is. Might be Sermon is limping a little bit. So we're going to have to see what this will bring. I don't see Bridgewater anywhere.
Dolash under center with Papaki, Mathis, and a quarterback keeper. A sneak by Jeremy Dolash, and he's up the sidelines for a first down. Ooh. Junior backup quarterback Jeremy Dolash in the offense, dialing it up, and a little trick play there. Gets the ball for 10 yards. 1st and 10.
What's the flag?
And, oh, shoot, we got a flag.
Well, I'd be willing to bet we got a holding away from the ball.
Flag near the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
Official still talking it through.
That's twice. It's away from the penalty is away from the play. What are they going to do? Oh, offsetting penalties. Unsportsmanlike. Language. Yeah, this is kind of starting to get heated a little bit. We saw an exchange between Coach Bridgewater and one of his receivers. And it came out. They pulled him out of the game, and I don't think he's back in yet. But that's one of those things that you just have to just keep your composure for the next 20 seconds it is. But Dolash, that's a nice 12-yard run by him.
Yep.
In that situation, and having the wherewithal to make he smacked a kid right there at the back end.
Right. So we got the same formation here. Dolash in the power I under center, 3 backs behind him. Hand off to Crookshank, and Crookshank driven back.
Man.
Didn't even get to the line of scrimmage that time. Gene Blaylock, also one of the key returners from this Grinnell team, played a big role for them last year and gets the stop there, bringing up 2nd down, 2nd and 11.
At the end of the third quarter, it's the Trojans are still in this. But one of the things, if they're going to run this little power I, this stack I that they're going to run, one of the things that Ethan Crookshank is going to have to do, if they're going to have any success with this, the biggest thing that he is going to have to do is he's going to have to follow his blockers. He's got Rudy Papaki and he's got Gavin Bridgewater out in front of him. And if they're running 2 across, they can take out 2 guys and he can score through this hole. But he's got to have the discipline. If he's playing that 3-back, he's got to have the discipline to make sure in this fourth quarter, he's got to make sure he follows his blockers.
We're going to be right back. It's the start of the fourth quarter coming up after this.
Expertise, innovation, and doing the right thing. These aren't traits you'll find everywhere, but you'll find them with Assured Partners in Toledo, your local independent insurance agency. Assured Partners specializes in home, auto, business, farm, and crop insurance. The professionals at Assured Partners in Toledo have been serving the South Tama community since 1948 and continue to deliver innovative products and solutions to meet clients' precise needs. Call 641-351-6976 to learn more. Assured Partners, power in partnership. S&S Car Wash provides both automatic and hand wash services as well as detailing for your vehicle. S&S Car Wash, your local car wash destination with convenient locations in Toledo and Tama.
We're in back on the start of the fourth quarter, and that was a fumble by Rudy Papaki, picked up in the backfield by Grinnell's Braden Johnson, and a big turnover to start the fourth, as South Tama needed nothing more than to just get some momentum going, and they'll be stopped up right on their heels with a turnover.
That right there is what you could be calling a nail in a coffin, because that was a perfect opportunity to gain some yards. Trojans came out too fast. He just never got a handle on the ball with that, and just...
So here's Brady Kaufman and company set up on the 35-yard line in Trojan territory on first down. And they're going to kind of compact their formation here a little bit. Kinnick Johnson, he's been the feature back here in the second half. Johnson down past a first down, but a flag out.
Coming back.
And so the flag will send Grinnell back for 5.
Maybe we got another one of these series.
Yeah.
Where Grinnell's just going to go backwards. You never know. If you're going to take advantage of it. If they're going to give you a gift.
But South Tama has not been able to capitalize on one of those since that first period.
No.
And
they've gotten the fumble. They've gotten them going backwards. They just can't convert.
So 1st and 21 after the 10-yard penalty will put Grinnell on the 47-yard line now. Low snap, Kaufman, quarterback keeper. Room to run up the middle. Kaufman makes his way down past the 30-yard line and finally tackled by the Trojan secondary. But Brady Kaufman has been probably will end up the leading running back or the leading rusher for this Grinnell team when it's all said and done. But he takes care of that penalty yardage, and it's not quite enough for a first down. It's going to be 2nd and 2. But you see the South Tama front line, they're
starting to get gassed.
Yeah, you see them on their knees a little bit,
and they're chasing.
Yep. 2nd and 2 on the 27. Handoff to Kinnick Johnson up the right side. Johnson dragged down by Juan Robles and a couple of other Trojans tacklers, but that'll be enough for a first down. And we've got all kinds of bumps and bruises and just difficulty kind of facing the South Tama team, and a lot of new faces on the varsity squad. So it's a if it was an easy game, everybody would play it.
Exactly, and that's the difference between having 25 guys. Whoop. Yeah, there he goes.
There's Johnson up the left side, and he makes his way all the way into the 5-yard line before getting run out of bounds by Nolan Upaw. And now almost a goal line opportunity here for the Grinnell offense. So Grinnell starting to find a rhythm.
They got the rhythm, and they wore us down. And it's all been since about 4 minutes to go in the third quarter to right now. It's just been they just been got us on our heels, and
1st and 7, 1st and goal on the 7. Quarterback keeper Kaufman still on his feet. Wow. Finally gets knocked over short of the goal line. Quick reminder, we're going to be live from Williamsburg High School on Tuesday. South Tama volleyball action over there in Williamsburg. We'll have that coverage for you live around 7:30. So tune in to us here at Trojan Country on Tuesday. And then we'll be on the road. South Tama getting their second road game on Friday, next Friday against Benton. That'll be a tough contest in week 4. We'll have that live for you here on Trojan Country. So plenty of opportunities to cheer on your Trojans, tap into what we're doing here at Trojan Country, and should be a fun week. 2nd and goal now on the 3. for Brady Kaufman, and the timeout will be called. Coach Hadenfeld wanting to make sure he gets the most out of this goal line drive.
Yeah. Take as much time off the clock as he can and get some points out of it, just to make sure, because this will be 26-27 to 7. You're pretty much you're forcing the Trojans to go in a hurry up and run 2-minute drills the whole time. So
as we mentioned, South Tama cross-country team in action on Monday. It'll be the STC Invitational right here at the South Tama High School campus, starting at the soccer field at 4:30. Quick note from South Tama's meet this past week at Grinnell. They finished 3rd. This was the boys' team. The girls only ran 2 runners, so not a full team score there. But the South Tama boys finished 3rd behind a second-place finish from Tommy Tynisma. James Brandt finished 4th in that one. And then rounding out the roster was Braxton Roars finishing 20th, and Cade Rosenberger 29th. Barrett Jacina, Holden Shermer, and Cale Graff rounding out the back half of the roster for South Tama at Grinnell. But they had 2 ranked teams ahead of them, Carlisle and Pella. Pella taking the win there in that boys cross-country contest this past Tuesday.
And that is a good team they got.
Low snap again, and here comes South Tama into the backfield. That was Crookshank, maybe? Nope, that was Cyrus Mathis sprinting into the backfield to try and punish Kaufman a little bit. Still a goal line setup here for Grinnell. 3rd and goal on the 9. We've got 9 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. South Tama trailing by multiple touchdowns.
I think if Grinnell has a practice in the morning, they're going to have everybody snapping the ball and taking the best guy.
Right.
It just, I mean, this is uncharacteristic of a Grinnell team. It's
and a
high,
high
it's
snap
low.
Finally picked up by Johnson, but Johnson's going to march into the end zone. Really had nobody to contend with, and it'll be another touchdown for Grinnell.
Yeah. He's quietly in this series has run for about close to 40 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and it's the chipping away. Now they're going to go for 2 again because I don't think they trust their snapper. So we'll see what happens. Kaufman's getting himself a workout too.
Right. Yeah, he's gonna sleep well tonight.
I think he's the 3rd of those Kaufman boys, and he's an athlete.
Low snap again. Oh my goodness.
Whee!
But Kaufman just picks it off the gate. If you've got, he's had room to work after being able to pick the ball up off the grass, and that really hasn't. This half anyway, that has not been damaging to Grinnell. These snap-foos, we could call them.
I mean, it's a 9-yard run for a touchdown. And the ball is low. And, I mean, there are 3 people there who are going to stand there and try and tackle him. And they get a 2-point conversion out of it on a pass. I don't know. It's just you gotta think that the coaches are down there shaking their head, thinking to themselves, what could have been?
Right.
It's coming out and.
So Grinnell breaking away here in the 4th, 28-7 the score, as South Tama will be looking at 8 minutes and 39 seconds to just answer here, to just look for something positive as they're going to wrap up this game here in the next few minutes.
You got to come up with three scores, 3 touchdowns.
Papaki and Crookshank still the returners for South Tama. Crookshank, you're kicking it right to him again.
Get around and
Crookshank breaks some ankles as he makes his way near the 35 to the 40 and finally brought down short of the 40-yard line there, but a good juke move there by the senior Crookshank. And Crookshank slow to get up. He finally kind of peels himself up.
He's been a workhorse since. Don't know what happened to Gavin Bridgewater, but Crookshank's been he's laying down right now. He's kind of been he's your go-to guy.
Right.
He's just going to be. one of those quick little guys who's just going to be. And he got rocked a little bit there.
Can't see very well.
No.
We got the sideline kind of covering him up, but he's laying pretty still there.
He's laying pretty still, and
so
hopefully they're not holding his head.
We're going to cut away for just a second. We'll be right back. Injury timeout here with 8 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock in the fourth quarter. We'll be right back after this.
I'm Sarah Smith, and I'm running for Iowa House District 53. As a lifelong Iowan and a native of Poweshiek County, I know this district well, and I have a vested interest in its success. In my leadership roles as a mom, coach, business professional, and a devoted member of my community, I know how to advocate for what matters most. Learn more about my campaign and my platform at sarahsmithforiowa.com. Paid for by Sarah Smith for Iowa.
Medicap Pharmacy in Toledo offers free medication packaging and free delivery to surrounding areas. With convenient drive-up service and hours on Saturday morning, Medicap Pharmacy is always there for you. Visit with pharmacist Derek Townsend and his team by calling 484-6198 or stop by their location across from Fairway in Toledo. Medicap Pharmacy, locally owned and expertly operated.
Coming back out of the injury timeout, South Tama with the ball here. 1st and 10 on the 37. Pitch off to Papaki. Papaki is just leveled
now he's
near
down
the line of scrimmage. And Ethan Crookshank on the bench getting attended to by Brian Fritz, the South Tama sideline medical expert tonight.
He might have a little bit of a stinger, and I think Rudy took the brunt of that. Just kind of a Rudy Papaki sandwich right there. He got hit hard.
Almost in the exact same spot.
Yeah.
Which is just ironic and a little painful. But so Papaki now down on the field, and he's getting up here.
He's got to come out.
He's up on his own 2 feet.
Holy smokes. That was scary there for a second. You're thinking.
So now play back underway here. Cody Blocker, the running back, coming in to run the play on for South Tama. And he'll look to spell Crookshank, who's got an ice pack on his neck and probably on the shelf for the night.
Yeah. And I tell you what, Cody Blocker had a heck of a game during that freshman game earlier tonight.
Yeah, the cover definitely not bare with some of the underclassmen in this South Tama program. So keep him healthy and keep him active.
Legal shift.
A flag just after the snap. We've got Bridgewater still working at quarterback, and so his ailments must not be too perilous.
He's got a wrap on his hand, and rumor has it that's why we have not thrown well tonight. So
after the penalty, that'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Keep running.
Bridgewater sweeping off to the left, stiff arms his way into traffic near the first down, and he'll finally get knocked out of bounds.
Flag.
Oh, my goodness, and another flag.
Yep, it's going to be on them. It's about a 12-yard pickup, but they're going to add another 15 yards. They hit him out of bounds, I think.
And so that'll bring up 2nd down. We're waiting to see what the yardage will be.
Yep.
Against Grinnell. Yep, you were right.
A little hold.
And that'll move the chains. 1st down after the penalty there by Grinnell.
Yeah, and that was a nice play. That's a nice designed little sweep. And get him out there and just – that's the kind of things that you're going to have to do, because down 28-7 with 7 minutes to go, you know, every little victory, if you score, it's going to just add to your bonus, to the
1st and 10 now. Here, pitch off to Papaki and almost dropped it.
That's twice.
Some frustration there, definitely, from the senior.
With the temperature out, I'm wondering if maybe Rudy needs to take off those gloves.
Yeah, that
could be. I mean, the temperature outside, his body is probably warm.
It's humid.
It's humid. He may need to take off those gloves, and because that's the second time he hasn't had a handle on a pitch.
2nd and 14 on the 48-yard line, just into Grinnell territory is South Tama right now. And we've got just under 7 minutes, 6:57 on the clock. Low snap, Bridgewater picks it up, running for his life. A broken play now, and he'll get knocked down near the line of scrimmage. And South Tama just kind of coming apart at the seams here a little bit in this fourth quarter.
And that's the rough part about the whole thing, is that you hate to see this as well as they played in the first half. With the exception of one series,
right,
where they kept going backwards, they played well and they were in this game. You don't know what the effect of that is going to be, to have a lead and watch Grinnell come out and score all those points.
So now 3rd and 19 after the stop behind the line of scrimmage on 2nd down. Bridgewater running, pressure, all kinds of pressure, and he tosses it.
Jeez.
And a flag. Flag out of bounds as Bridgewater just rockets it to the sideline. And some decision-making issues for Bridgewater we're seeing here tonight. We've seen a couple potential grounding situations and just kind of under pressure, last second, what do I do type situations that have been difficult for the young quarterback.
Yeah, 4th down.
Ineligible receiver is going to be the penalty, is what's called there. So not a grounding penalty, but a difficult look for the South Tama offense here on
an ineligible receiver on the other side of the field where he didn't have to be in the downfield. That's 3 penalties that we've had. You're in the wrong situation. Pop it, Rudy.
Papaki, high punt.
Hello.
Up near the 40-yard line.
Catch it.
Oh, near the 30. And another solid bounce.
Wow.
And the punt from Papaki rolls into the 10-yard line near the 9. Nolan Upaw tracks it down the ball, but
last 2 punts, 51-40. So he's contributing.
Right. But short time on the clock, 5:44 left in the game, and South Tama trailing by a few here.
Grinnell's going to be hard. Our kids with Benton and then starting district play, they still have this could have been a feather in their cap. You beat Grinnell and have a decent enough record to make playoffs.
And here's a run play by Braden Johnson, it looks like. No, that was Kenick Johnson still. So he's been the go-to in this second half, and he's been successful. That's it's a first down there by Johnson.
And one of the things too is you can't tell me that wasn't kind of a design game plan.
Right.
They kept the ball out of his hands.
Keep your powder dry, sort of thing.
In the first half, and then just came out, and so now he has fresh legs.
1st and 10 on the 21. 5.5 minutes on the clock, fourth quarter. Little movement here before the snap, but we'll get play underway. A handoff to Johnson, and he's stopped in the backfield. That was Kinzer Jeanette and Cody Blocker working for the Trojans.
That's the biggest part of the whole thing is that, South Tama played a great half of football.
Right.
And, you can expect more from these kids as they start to grow and mature in the season. But one of the things you have to do is you got a lot of guys looking at the sidelines right now.
Right.
You got a lot of guys who are limping, helmets off. I think Ethan Cruikshank is done for the night.
Right.
Kyan McBride's probably done for the night. Emerson is probably done for the night. Rudy's probably done for the night.
There's a run by Kenick Johnson. He's got room to go. First down and then some. Kenick Johnson from Grinnell into South Tama territory. A big 20-plus yard run there. So he's gonna get himself into the quick stats universe here a little bit with a big night tonight against South Tama. Two performances on week 1 and week 2 that didn't really yield much of anything for this Grinnell offense. but it's been the opposite here tonight against South Tama.
And again, this might be the thing that Grinnell needs to get on the right track again.
Right.
Is to know. Then they're a good team, but you got to figure.
Got to get that snapping figured out. We're still seeing it too. It's that the snap we just saw was right at his ankles, and he had to peel it off the grass to.
So if anything, this snap is going to be high because they've been alternating high and low for most of the half. And it's just, it's got to be frustrating. Kaufman's just got to be frustrated with his idea the idea that you don't know where that ball is going to go. Mm-hmm. And that's,
it's a lot to think about when you've got 25 other things to, decisions to make and things to kind of clock as you're working as a quarterback. Kaufman moving forward, and again, it was.
Yeah.
Gets it off the grass.
Get out of here.
Takes it up. He's fast enough to really move ahead. And there's not, we've got some size on that South Tama front, but we don't have a lot of speed. Nope. And a big body in Kaufman, and he's been able to kind of just chew away at South Tama's front line.
He's kind of a tall, tough kid. And you got Johnson in the backfield, who's kind of a short, squatty kid. And it's like a two-headed monster. I just coming at, kind of thought, I thought what Bridgewater and Papaki would be. And we got encroachment on the Trojans. Came across the line too quickly.
3 minutes, 21 seconds left in this game. Third down after maybe maybe that'll move the sticks here. That should, yeah. First down after the penalty.
And that's just another one of those silly, I want to get out of here early type of a deal.
Right. First and 10 now after the penalty on the 40-yard line in Trojan territory. Grinnell trying to tack one more on as South Tama's second unit players filtering in by necessity, but because of some injuries. There's a loose ball in the backfield.
Just fall on it.
Covered up by Kinnick Johnson, and it was Young Bear and Kinzer Jeanette again in pursuit.
Every one of these low snaps for a loss, I keep taking yards off my stat sheet for a back.
Right.
Should I put a column here for the guy who's snapping the ball and just give it to him? He'd probably have about minus 100 yards.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, easily.
Honestly,
yeah.
For every time that Kaufman is or Johnson or somebody has had to dive on that ball 10 yards in the backfield.
I haven't seen anything like this. I've not called a game where there's been this many snapping issues.
Yeah.
We saw maybe the worst team I've ever seen in high school football in Sadell last week. They weren't doing this.
No.
Kudos to Grinnell. They're doing a lot of other things right, and they got a lot of good athletes. But man, this is it's like the flu. It just won't go away.
How key is it to get the ball 5 yards in a football game?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it tonight. If this were an NFL game, I guess this is probably why NFL and college teams, every lineman snaps the ball.
Right.
Because this got to be, these poor kids from Grinnell, they get any kind of momentum going, and they just shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
And that's the saddest part about it is. And who knows? Looking at the game film, they were outclassed, they were overpowered. But could this have been part of their problem in the first two games?
Sure. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you look at that type of a thing, and is it going to come back and haunt them in the future?
We'll see. And there's some competitive, matchups on the schedule yet to come. It's not like the district is entirely full of powerhouse teams. And a pitch off to
number 12.
Well, so we're getting some second unit kids now for this.
They're just hoping to get their starters out of here and not get hurt.
Will Burkhead, a senior, getting the pitch off there. 2 minutes to go here at Trojan Field. The Steve Kriegel Memorial Trophy looking to stay with Grinnell here for another year. They've had it for 4 years straight. Going to be a fifth year South Tama unable to kind of mount a response in the second half, and we're seeing the last kind of last few moments play out here in Tama.
22. Is that 22 or 12?
Well, if it's 22, that'd be Kane Pavey, sophomore.
I know, his dad. That's, the funny thing about it I just thought of is what is this going to be like when Grinnell joins the WAMAC next year?
Right.
This is going to take some added significance because we're going to have to play Grinnell in everything twice.
Yeah, in everything. Yeah, absolutely
basketball,
everything.
soccer. So, this is... Grinnell joining the WAMAC is a good move for them, and it's a good move for us because it's going to get us motivated and hungry.
Right.
And this game takes on a lot of significance because this gets the ball rolling. I thought, when the girls beat Grinnell, and they just waxed them down there in Grinnell in volleyball, I thought that this was kind of going to be a year where maybe Grinnell was going to be down and when we could get this.
Sneak one in. Yep.
And I truly, honestly, going into this, just looking at the film and looking at South Tama and hearing your broadcast the last 2 weeks and watching,
right.
I thought that this was a South Tama team that could get in here and get Grinnell.
Right.
And they could do this. And it will be, these two teams are probably as stat-wise as even as two teams have been.
Yep, at least so far.
Yeah.
Yep.
And with what we've got coming on, cross country waxed them the other night down there with the boys, and we haven't done that in a long time.
Absolutely.
To Grinnell. So, this
matchup's been competitive, that's for sure, across the board. And, it's good to see that in another Western part of the WAMAC conference kind of getting South Tama out of that outlier position as they're, we're kind of always the furthest drive for a lot of teams, and another snafu there, a new quarterback in.
Long snap on a punt.
Oh, it was a long snap.
Hit the up back as he had his head turned. Okay.
Shoot, dang it.
Yep. Golly, it's 47 seconds.
47 seconds, yeah. Just Grinnell trying to get out of here with
the win.
Some
semblance
of pride here.
Think about this. The other interesting thing is a lot of people don't think about is the state's going to take their 50 days. Yeah. And they're going to bring back a decision on that Waverly Shell Rock joining the WAMAC. And it's gonna shake up the WAMAC.
So it's Trojan fans not keying in to some of the sports news lately. Waverly Shell Rock has been trying to find a new home after they got removed from the Northeast Iowa Conference, and they tried to petition the WAMAC to come over and become a WAMAC member, and they were unanimously voted down by the WAMAC kind of board. There's Cody Blocker on the run for South Tama.
Picks up 6, but we have a flag. It looks like it's going to be on.
And so they were voted down. However, they're allowed to there's an appeal process, I guess, that they're allowed to go through, which ultimately hands the decision over to the state governing bodies, the Girls Association, or the Girls Union and the Boys Association. And so right now, the WAMAC schools and Waverly Shell Rock are waiting on that decision. Like you said, 50 days to kind of make that up. There was a mediation, I believe, a few days ago that ended in no change in the situation. And what will be interesting for me to see is, I know when they were pitching the Mississippi Valley Conference, they were trying to tell them at that time, we just want to come over for everything but wrestling. Yep. We'll stay with I don't know where they were going to go for wrestling, but they were going to split it up like that, which I don't know of any other conference. Here's another run by Cody Blocker. And
that's the thing, is that they're going to come over to the WAMAC. They want to do it in everything except wrestling. They're going to go to the Mississippi Valley for wrestling.
Right.
Or because, Western Dubuque and all that stuff. And traditionally, I think it's because Waverly Shell Rock doesn't want to get waxed by Indy. and you think about that, and you can giggle about that, but they don't want to come here, and they want to be the dominant team in their conference.
Yeah, well,
which they were for years,
and they have been. I mean, you put a Waverly Shell Rock team who has been the class of 3A wrestling for the last 5 years plus, and is growing momentum. That's a dangerous position to put the WAMAC conference in. So here we go. Final score from Trojan Field, 28-7, as the Steve Kriegel Memorial Trophy stays with the Grinnell Tigers on Friday night tonight. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with a post-game wrap-up. You're listening to Trojan Country. We'll be right back after this.
Located in the heart of corn and cattle country, Iowa Premium procures and processes only corn-fed Black Angus cattle that come hand-selected from family farms in Iowa and neighboring states. As Tama County's largest employer, the team at Iowa Premium are an anchor, not only in the beef industry, but throughout eastern and central Iowa. Iowa Premium, a national beef company.
You've changed thousands of diapers, cut off hundreds of bread crusts, played hours of peekaboo and duck duck goose, because you'd do anything for your kids. That's why it's so important to protect them with life insurance from State Farm. State Farm agent Gary Bach makes it easy and affordable to help protect your family, no matter what the future holds. Because for the people you'd do anything for, life insurance could mean everything. Call State Farm agent Gary Bach in Toledo today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Licensed agents Mandy Leakin and Jason Leakin in Tama, Toledo are the one to count on for all your residential, commercial, and farm real estate needs. For most of us, buying a home is one of the largest investments of a lifetime. Choosing the right professional can save you time and make home buying a smooth process. Call 641-751-3021 to find out how the team at Appraisal and Real Estate Services can serve you. Trojan Country fans, come on down to The Pump, Tama, Toledo's #1 bar and grill. Located in downtown Tama at 218 West 3rd Street, The Pump serves up cold drinks, a warm atmosphere, and an amazing lunch on the regular. Check out the Tama Pump on Facebook for regular lunch and drink specials, as well as details on their latest events. When you're looking for a new home or farmland, why not seek the counsel of a friend and expert? Dallas Berm at Exit Holes Realty can answer all your questions about the home buying process. Exit Holes Realty knows Trojan Country better than anyone and can provide the kind of service you've been looking for. So call Dallas Berm at 319-360-1592 to start looking for your new home, and remember to buy with Berm.
This show's pretty rockin', huh?
Yeah, I'm so glad my State Farm agent helped me go.
Huh?
My State Farm agent. They help me with options to personalize my auto insurance to get a great rate that fits my budget, so I don't have to give up the things I love.
Wow. Hey, so do you think I could get your State Farm agent's number?
Call State Farm agent Gary Bach in Toledo at 641-484-3163.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Welcome back to Trojan Country. We're live from STC Trojan Field. Final score of tonight's game is 28-7. South Tama taking the loss to Grinnell on Rivalry Week. The Steve Kriegel Memorial Trophy going back to Grinnell for another year. This will be the 5th straight year that Grinnell has captured this special trophy, and they get it again tonight after a big win. If you're still with us here, listening to some the sweet tunes of South Tama and Marshalltown Hall of Famers, Hot Jam from back in the late mid 70s. Trojan fans might remember that great band from the Central Iowa area with ties to Tama. Thanks to their help, and check them out on Bandcamp if you want to see. They just released a vinyl on Bandcamp with some of their early recordings. So fun stuff there from Tama Connection. So, George, what do you have for us on statistics from this game?
Statistic-wise from the game, here we go. For Grinnell, for rushing, we got Cole Blackford. He only had 1 rush for 6 yards and then all of a sudden disappeared. And also Tristan Stark, he had 8 rushes for 35 yards. And it's amazing to me. And then one of the things I want to try and figure out is those two just completely disappeared in the first quarter.
It was all Kinnick Johnson after that.
And after that, it was Cole Kaufman. He had 16 rushes for 39 yards, and Kinnick Johnson had 18 rushes for 80 yards. His longest was a 25-yarder, which kind of put a little dagger in the heart of the Trojans there in the third quarter. Addison Stark came in. He had 1 rush for 2 yards, and Kane Pavey came in. He had 1 rush for 6 yards late in the game. The most damage was done on 2 plays. Is that big 25-yarder from Kinnick Johnson, and then in the passing department, Cole Kaufman threw 7 passes for 144 yards. His biggie was a 93-yard reception by Carson Pinich, and his Pinich had 2 catches for 124 yards. Braden Johnson was the only other Tiger to catch a pass. He caught 2 passes for 18 yards, so he really wasn't a factor. But the big one in that third quarter was the Kaufman to Pinich 93-yarder that just kind of got.
It just took the air out of everything.
It took the air out of everything.
Oh my gosh!
Braden Johnson had a fumble recovery, and Kinnick Johnson had an interception for the Tigers. On the South Tama side, Rudy Papaki had 9 rushes for 41 yards. Gavin Bridgewater 17 for 64 yards. Ethan Cruikshank, he was a workhorse. He got us in a drive. He got us moving. He had 5 rushes for 16 yards. Jeremy Dolash had 1 big rush for 12 yards. Cody Blocker came in. He did some scrub-up duty, but he had 3 varsity rushes for 15 yards, and that's including, after he probably had, I would say that he probably had 150, 175 yards in that freshman game.
Yeah.
He carried the team, and South Tama made a huge comeback in that freshman game. So Cody Blocker had himself a night. So that was a pretty good deal. Passing-wise, Gavin Bridgewater threw 1 pass for 8 yards, and he had 1 interception. Ethan Cruikshank caught the pass for the 8-yard reception. Rudy Papaki had an outstanding night punting. He had 6 punts. I don't know what his average is, but his 2 last punts were 51 yards and 45, and just he kind of took the air out of a little bit out of Grinnell's sails. Again, Ethan Cruikshank, he had 3 kickoff returns for almost 70 yards. Rudy Papaki had 2 kickoff returns for 45 yards. Juan Robles, congratulations to him. He was the stuffer. He knocked down a quarterback and forced a fumble and fell down on his own fumble. So he had himself a good night. But unfortunately for Juan and the rest of his defensive teammates, we just kind of wore down because we didn't have too many
2 or 3 more bodies on really athletic bodies on that line, and it's a different story tonight. I think
so. And if you move, you don't want to say this too loudly, but if you move some of those freshmen up, it gives a chance for them to get some varsity experience later in the season, and then it also gets a chance to spell some of those guys. Scoring wise, Cole Kaufman had a 4-yard touchdown run. He had with a block extra point. He had a 2-yard touchdown run. He had a 2-point conversion. That made the score 14-7. Kaufman to Pinich had a 96-yard touchdown pass, no 2-point conversion, made it 20-7. And then Johnson had a 9-yard run and a 2-point pass to Pinich and made it 28-7. South Tama's only score was way back in the first quarter. It was a 20-yard touchdown run by Bridgewater with Garcia's extra point, and that brought the score at the time was 7-0. And that's the Trojans led at halftime 7-6.
Yeah. And
we thought we would come out and see the South Tama Trojans just kind of, do the same thing they were doing in the first quarter and in the second quarter and see if they couldn't come out with this victory. But unfortunately,
Grinnell found themselves when they needed to. And
too many weapons.
Too many weapons,
And too many weapons. And, when you give up a 93-yard pass play and it throws over a cornerback that's a sophomore, it's going to get you. But South Tama needs to be proud the way they played.
Oh, yeah.
They can go into Benton Community holding their heads high. Hopefully, we have a good week of practice and everybody's healthy and better so that we can get this thing pointed in the right direction. We got one more game at Benton next week, and then we start district play. We go up to Indy, and then from there, I think, if I'm not mistaken,
CPU, I think after
CPU here. Charles City is here.
West Delaware's
here.
No, Charles City's away.
Well, Charles City's away. Then you got Hampton coming here, and you've got winnable games here at Trojan Field. So my only advice to everybody is get out and watch the Trojans. If you weren't at the game tonight, Monday you have an opportunity to watch the cross country team. Next week we go to Benton. It's a 30-minute drive. They got some great restaurants. Have some dinner. Come to the game. And they got great popcorn over there, too.
And we'll have all the coverage for you live here on Trojan Country. We're going to have South Tama Volleyball on Tuesday starting around 7 p.m. Live from Williamsburg. And then Friday we'll be back in action from Benton over in Van Horn. We'll have the South Tama Benton game in Week 4. So a lot to look forward to. Thanks, George, for being with me tonight. Sure. And we will see you next time. You're listening to Trojan Country.